Hello, 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 everybody. I am your androgynous AI game show host from the future, Caster. And this is the Neon Caster channel. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, RJK Games. Hello, good evening. I hope you are doing well. I hope everybody is doing absolutely fabulous today. Seeing Valthic appear in chat and about to say absolutely fabulous. I hope you're all fabulous too, by the way. You all deserve to be fabulous. Yeah, no, I hope you're all doing good. Happy Friday. Stealing that? Absolutely, that's free. That's yours. Take it. Yeah, no. But yeah, no, I hope you're all doing good. This is a bit of a guerrilla stream. It's something that I was preparing to do, but I only got my codes and bits and pieces relatively recently. So I was like, oh, this now needs to happen, but I'm very excited to have it happen. I previously streamed a session of a new video game, Moonbreaker, a couple of weekends ago. They were having an early access. Hey, Deck. Hello. Welcome. Yeah, we're using a little bit of AI generated art now for the background and some various bits and pieces. I've been using some AI art for other tabletop projects I've had in the fire, and I figured it would be thematically appropriate, all things considered, to go and use it a little bit for my layout as well. I think it's quite pretty, quite cozy. But yes, a couple of weekends ago, Moonbreaker had like early access weekends, and I had the opportunity to go and poke around a little bit at the tutorial battle and do some of the painting. And today is the launch day of the game. The game is available for purchase from Steam, and I do believe some other sources, but Steam is, as you know, my main wheelhouse for obtaining goods of this nature. Let me go and link the game to you so you can go and obtain it if you would like to. It is here on Steam. You can go and get it right now, but there is another way that you can go and get a copy of Moonbreaker, especially if as you're watching this stream you're like, ooh, this seems like my jam, let's go get it. Well, I have been very kind. The folks at Craft and Ink, the publishers of Moonbreaker, have not only supplied me with this game code to be able to play for you today, but also 3 copies of the game on Steam for me to give away to my viewers. All you need to do to be entered in, I'm going to randomly select those lucky people who get a copy of the game, and all you need to do to enter is to go to that Twitter link there and post a picture of your funkiest mini. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to be your best mini. If you're new to miniature painting, you don't have to be like super awesome at painting. I'm definitely not super awesome at painting. I'm very much a beginner. This is just showing me a miniature that you enjoyed painting and are proud of. And then at the end of our little play session, we're going to go through the various pictures that people have sent, and I'm going to say very nice things about them, because if you step up to the plate to go and show off your art to other people, it's fucking dope. So yeah, we're gonna go have a look at those, and then we're gonna go randomly select some winners, and everybody's gonna have a nice time. Yes. So please do consider entering into that to win a copy of the game. But you probably want to go and see the game in action to decide whether you want a copy of it now. So let's go and move over to the business. Okay. Yeah. Can I pitch Tabletop Twilight for the name of this slightly later tabletop stream? Ooh, that's good. Because we do sometimes on like Saturday daytimes do tabletop tea time. So Tabletop Twilight is actually a good call, actually, Rick. That's very smart. Especially since as of late, trying to stream on Tuesdays is a little difficult for me. So being able to displace that to any day of the week and call it Tabletop Twilight, good choice. I will steal that. Valthic can have fabulous, and then I can have Tabletop Twilight. There we go. Now, Moonbreaker, for the general, like, basic impression of what it is, for those who absolutely have no idea, is the idea of taking a tabletop war game, your Warhammers, your Infinities, maybe, maybe even your Malifaux. This is a little bit more straightforward than Malifaux, I think, and definitely more straightforward than Infinity. But it takes the tabletop war game idea and then converts it into a digital format. It's very much a skirmish game rather than an army game. If you don't know what that means, that basically means that when we're going to be fighting opponents in this game, we are going to be using Malifaux, your opponents in Malifaux. Yeah. Absolutely. In a skirmish game, you have a small team of individual named figures with different abilities, as opposed to more scale, like army scale games, where you're moving entire units of miniatures all at once. I personally am more of a fan of skirmish games, even though I've had a relatively minimal experience of like full army war games. It's just because it's fewer miniatures to paint, to be honest with you. And also the idea of being able to project a personality onto a character is something I quite enjoy. Right. Let us, since there are apparently training videos to go watch, maybe we shall go watch one of those. Or do the tutorial again? I did the tutorial previously. When we played Lost. So thinking of the best way to go and do an intro for people who are maybe seeing this for the first time. Actually, you know what? Let's go and do the tutorial again, because I have a feeling there's going to be more people who are going to be looking to this as an example for what the game is like than the previous stream. Also, the previous stream was a little bit scuffed because I was not prepared. So this could be the good example. Let's do the tutorial. Oh, I also realized that you cannot hear the game audio. Whoop. Let me go and increase that. There we go, that's going. Fortunately, the menu music wasn't especially important to the experience of the thing. So this is your Captain Extilior. If you lose him, you lose the match. Keep him alive at all costs. I didn't realize we couldn't either. Yeah, no, my bad. But there is audio now, and you should be able to hear it. Do let me know if we need to wiggle the volume of it. Left-click Extilior to select him and then move him into range of the turret. Finally, use his melee attack to strike the turret. So when we did this last, I was using my tablet to go and play the game, and actually that worked really, really well. My tablet is sometimes a little bit persnickety, so we are going to be playing this just in regular desktop mode. We are still going to be doing painting later in the stream using the tablet though. So we're going to click to select him, and then we're going to use our move command and move him into range, and then we're going to use our melee attack and bop him. Bopped. And with that done, we can end our turn. Very, very, like, you know, if you've played a Fire Emblem, a Final Fantasy Tactics with a Q, then you're definitely going to be very familiar with the kind of like cycle of moving units around in this game. Sharpay would be proud of the bopping. Extilior has a special ability, Sword of Justice, which can damage multiple units at once. Move Extilior so that he touches both enemy turrets. Then use Sword of Justice for his first attack. Yes, because it seems that, well, there's a couple of things that the tutorial does not explain mechanically that will come up in actual matches. There is sort of an MP system here, an action economy, that the tutorial does not focus on, but we'll come into that when we actually do a match for real rolls. So we're going to move into range. We're going to use our Sword of Justice to go and damage both of these units. And then we have a regular melee attack. It is very charming watching the miniatures like wiggle around, do a little spin, tilt around as they move. That's very, very cute. we have the interestingly named Crankbait. Crankbait, despite her name, is not a pin-up miniature. In this unit, Crankbait can pull in units to her position. I forgot about Crankbait. Yeah. Try using her grappling chain ability to pull the turret to her and then destroy it with Extilior. So we're going to move here. Hold on. In a way where it's not going to get caught on that. I'm kind of cautious. Oh, it's not tracking my mouse movements. She's called Crankbait, really. Who designed this? Adam Poots. I mean, there's a bit of a... Let me do one thing real quick. So you can see my mouse cursor, because that's probably going to be pretty important for this game. Capture cursor. There we go. Can you see my cursor now? You can! Good. Because, you know, I want to make sure that where I am placing Crankbait and her pull effect isn't just going to pull our target just into cover. So we're going to click Crankbait. Hi, Tom. How you doing? Grappling chain. Don't worry. And then we can melee it. Check the base underside. Oh yes, this is an important detail for those who are not in the know. Excuse me. Adam Poots is I think the artist, but not necessarily the mechanics writer for Kingdom Death Monster. Is that correct, Tom? A lot of the characters in Kingdom Death Monster are very sensual in design, very curvaceous. Adam Poots definitely has a preferred body type. He's basically the CEO these days. Yes, yeah, he's definitely the guy for Kingdom Death Monster. But let's move Crankbait towards the two turrets and then pull Extilior to her. Then you can use Extilior to destroy the turrets all in a single turn. Ooh. So we're going to go do these. Oh, sorry, I have to remember to hit the move command first. We're going to use our grappling chain to go and pull Fam over.
We must do this.
And this is one of the interesting things that we learned when we played last. Sword of Justice is an AoE attack, and it does actually say on the tooltip, deals 3 damage to all in caps units in range. The duality of horrible monster versus pinup lady. Yep, that is the aesthetic of Kingdom Death Monster. The sculpts are not all to my taste. They are very high quality and very detailed, and you can tell a lot of effort goes into them. Some of them are genuinely, horniness aside, really pretty, and I would love to use them in stuff that I make too, but most of the time they are on US shipping only and are very expensive to order into the UK. So there's been some recent miniatures that, oh, they also tend to have very limited print runs as well. So there's been some recent ones, a scholar character and like a living doll with giant scissors, and both of them are very cool and aren't going to break any terms of service, but yeah, to order them in would be prohibitively expensive. You can help me order in things from Kingdom Death Monster by donating or subscribing to the channel. Wink. Aria is a ranged unit. Ranged unit's accuracy is affected by distance, cover, and other units. Try targeting all 3 turrets to see how cover and your own unit's positions affect her shot. Yes, so this is a miniatures game that pays attention to cover. There is both full and partial cover, or as it calls, hard and soft cover. Ha!
Gifted a tier 1 sub to Tyler Adav.
There we go. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Were very, very kind. I appreciate you. You didn't have to do that. I was just kidding. But no, thank you very much. It is the last day of September where the prices of doing so are cheaper, but I guess that is Amazon's prerogative. Let's not get too into that today. We're going to go and, well, let's see. We can use our delightful lady crankbait.
Snack trays and nude waiters.
Indeed, to go and move over here.
Where's the syrup waterfall?
Should I have attacked first and then moved? Probably yes. We're going to use grappling chain to go and pull our friend over.
You deserve a big hand. I scope with my little scope.
And then we can go and concentrate.
Maybe their vision is based on movement.
And then try and do a shot. Okay, so now we are doing the shot. We can see that there are modifiers in terms of hitting things. So the fact that I'm shooting through an ally gives a penalty of 22, and shooting over soft cover gives a penalty of 29. Under hard cover, the shot's blocked. I can't hit this unit. Over here, I can hit this unit, and there are no penalties. Let's see if we can make this shot.
Defensive field activated.
We did indeed, mostly because we had bonus 75% accuracy, so it was taking out of that, so we still had 100% shot chance. We can still move though, so let's go and move, let's say here, and our big man can melee this turret, destroying it, and then move here. And then to 10. It tries to shoot over cover and does manage to hit.
If I die, no more happy hours.
We're just going to concentrate and shoot this one again. Easily done. We're going to move to here. Oh, can I still move? Yes, I can still move. Excellent. We're going to move to here. We're going to fan out a little bit.
I forget nothing. Prepare to face your fate.
Having the best time.
Nice. Enter. Ooh, a number of additional units have arrived. Have spawned in an enemy captain, angry jailbreak, as well as some support turrets and a new friendly unit for you to experiment with. Use what you've learned about your units and their abilities to defeat the enemy. Remember, you don't need to kill all the enemy units, just their captain to win. Good luck. So we have Tipu, who has a special ability, Digest. Whenever Tipu hits, you permanently gain 1 attack and 1 health. So we can do something like move up to this unit here, attack them with melee, gain in damage and size. Excellent, excellent. We can then use our unit crankbait to go and move, let's see, maybe like here. Use our grappling chain to retrieve the lad. And now they are able to go and attack other enemy units as well. Seems powerful. True. Actually, Velthek, because obviously you have a lot of tabletop wargame experience and different tabletop wargame experience to what I have, I'd be very interested as we play for your thoughts on what this game is like as a piece of design. We are going to go and move. That puts me in the line of sight of both of these turrets, so maybe not. Let's be you. What can I hit from here? I can hit you from here. Let's just shoot you. Nice, that didn't do that much damage. I think this is going to be a circumstance where we hold the fort and see what the enemy does, rather than trying to move ourselves out of good positioning. Currently playing my housemate Watching my housemate and a friend play a small game of old school Warhammer Fantasy. So mini gaming in stereo. Please tell them that I said hi. I hope they are having a good day. We are gonna
Die? No more happy hours.
do our ranged attack again, just uncontested. We are then also going to move. Oh, we get to read about this unit, right? This unit has lockup. Touching rivals are immobilized. Interesting. So when you are in melee base-to-base contact with this unit, you cannot move away from the unit. You are forced to fight them. This would be a problem for our sniper, who is very small and very frail. However, we do have our big lad, who can just move directly in the path of this unit and then just start going ham. It seems they do have a counterattack, though. Just the one counterattack, at least.
I scope with my little scope.
We're gonna move, let's see. We're gonna move like here. And we're gonna move this unit. Move this unit here. Going to melee this turret. Doesn't destroy it, but it will block shots for other people. We're going to use grappling chain to go get our little friend over here. And we're going to use that as additional movement distance to get within range. And pick off another enemy turret. Yeah. Eaten. The mini itself gets larger every time it destroys a unit. That's very cute. I do believe these are all the action. Oh, I can meditate to gain accuracy, and then end my turn. Oh. Interesting. So he moved to immobilize Tipu, but didn't attack, which is very strange. At the very least, I now have a 5 damage melee attack because I've eaten 2 enemies, so this should kill. There we go. No opportunity for a counterattack. You should now understand the very basics of Moonbreaker, but this is just the beginning. You're ready to move on and try your hand at some real matches. Good luck. Nice, 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 nice. Stellar work, everybody. And then we have rewards for doing bits and pieces. This game is definitely framed to be a live service game. A lot of the stuff surrounding this, I don't really know what the finer details of this is, but we'll see. The early access graffiti loading screen is cute. Yeah, I agree. But we can go play some matches. Even though, what is cargo run? Spend a contract to battle 5 randomized bosses of increasing difficulty. I see. Even though this game frames itself as being live service, what I would love to see from a game of this nature is actually having a non-online multiplayer campaign. I think one of the ways that a lot of people get into miniature wargaming is playing other people, but playing other people who know a game really well can be really intimidating. And there are some war games out there, Stargrave comes to mind, where you can play it as a cooperative effort. So you are essentially playing a computer-style opponent rather than playing another person, and you can team up with people who are more familiar with war games, so you're eased into the process. And playing digitally gives you the ability to actually go and arrange scenarios and get you engaged with a story rather than just skirmishes. So I really look forward to the potential of there being something resembling a story mode in this as this game continues. For now, though, we are just going to fight our first AI opponent, or I guess second AI opponent. I did go and play one of these in the open weekend previously. Mm.
Only justice.
An icy map, huh?
Protect each other.
Yes, this is an AI opponent. Oh, right. In terms of playing an AI opponent in a physical space, how that's done is there would essentially be a list of if-thens for character options. So no. I specifically, I'm gonna be fighting an AI person first, unless I screwed that up. We'll see. We will do this one. I didn't have the time to read them. I was being timed. Oh no, I am actually fighting a person, it seems. Okay, this is fine. We'll play as we go. So we gain MP every turn called Cinder. Cinder is used to go and summon units to the field. It starts out with a minimum amount. But the Cinder is not only used to summon units to the field, it is also used to go and do your special attacks. For example, my character has Shield of Hope, which requires 1 Cinder to use. We gain new amounts of Cinder every turn.
With righteous intent.
And we also have 2 charging special abilities. One where we can move further for 2, and one where we can drop items on the drop orbital strikes on the opponent. We have a unit that we can summon for 3 because we have 3 Cinder available. We're going to summon them here. As I understand, units that are summoned have summoning sickness, so they are not in a position to be able to move at the start of their turn. However, this unit can still move, so we will. We're going to see if we can stay behind cover a lot of the time. This unit is a melee one, so we're not in a position of getting shot, but they can definitely summon a ranged unit and make me very sad.
That is wise. I move through the turmoil.
Let's see. We have 3 Cinder available. So we can't summon a new unit yet, but we can use one of our abilities, Stim Burst, to move faster this turn.
With righteous intent.
Does this let me get into melee range? It does not. That is fine. We are going to use Shield of Hope to protect ourselves.
Make it last.
And we're going to move our very speedy unit. What is your, hold on. What's your AoE? So that's your area of attack. You can attack this unit next turn, that's fine. We are going to move you like here. And I might be able to shoot him from here. Excellent. And I am just out of melee range. Excellent. This is what's supposed to happen. This is definitely versus a player. I am being timed.
That is wise.
You're deploying a new unit. Oh, and I'm being shown in terms of where things are being placed. Ah.
Defensive field activated.
They're specifically placing a unit that prevents me from moving back, which is very smart.
Uphold your honor.
Cinder Infusion. I don't know what that does, but hey, thank you. We have the ability to summon a unit this turn. We can summon Florio the Lancer, who has a bombard effect, and we can summon Jailbreak that also has lockup. So we can do the same thing that they did, and deploy a unit, but we will do that. We'll do that later. That requires 4. We have 6 right now. Oh, we have 8 Cinder total. Okay. So we can do this and hit them with the business. We can move our unit in for base-to-base contact and melee them. Do I get counter hit? I do get counter hit. Okay. We are going to go to the bridge and summon Jailbreak and put it behind. You are now locked up, friend. I cannot move, but I can shoot you. I get counter hit if I do that. And just continuing to plink away at the champion is the big strat here.
My armor will distract.
Linking for additional damage. This is fine. Yes, that is the Birdman that I painted last stream. That's right. I actually have a lot of NP available now, but we will
Actions cannot be undone.
focus on doing this unit first. You only get one counter hit, so we're gonna oh no, you get multiple counter hits apparently. That's fine. We're gonna Sword of Justice here. Shield of Hope myself.
We will hold them off.
And what do we want to do? Add a random crew to the bridge. Oh, I can summon a new unit. Interesting. And we have 4 remaining stocked. Let's summon a new unit to the bridge randomly. We get Aria. Cool. What do I want to do here? You. Ah, the shot missed. Okay. And then we are going to use haste. No, we're not going to use haste. We're just going to end our turn. I'm winning the damage race, so I am ooh, I might be out damaged here. We'll see. Oh, because that base locks me.
Use this wisely. With righteous intent.
You can use Plink on yourself. Interesting. Okay, so we have Aria. And we have Florio the Lancer, Bombard deals 3 damage to. Yep, we're gonna do that. We're gonna go place them all the way over here.
Max are so in.
And then we're gonna sit on this unit and do Sword of Justice and deal damage to both of them. Cool beans. I think we're gonna melee you and get you out of the way. Am I in a position to do this? We are in a position to do this. Stim Burst. We have the additional movement range available now. And then we're going to go and get the fuck out of there. Excuse me. End turn. A hydrate command? Yes, I will indeed. In fact, in addition to the tea and water I also have some stout to drink. So I have options. I'm very up for the folks who know me. I'm very up for taking suggestions as to what we can have in our channel points. Audio redeems are a thing that I want. I definitely want to have a little sound effects board. But I am very, very open to suggestions for those who visit a lot of different streams for what we can use with our channel points. Oh, you are healing yourself. I see. I see. This is bad. I do not want you to do that.
Real fur cup holders.
Ruined by aggressive chat ping bollocks. True. There are certain things that would be not useful to have. But
Fully loaded. How Matador does it.
we have 3 available. Oh, I think this is going to be.
We must do this.
You have 9 remaining. We both have 9 remaining. We are going to move in. We're going to Shield of Hope ourselves. We're going to Sword of Justice you, because you can't counter hit that. Then melee you. And it counter hits for less damage. Excellent. Okay. We are winning the damage race. I was initially kind of concerned about my strat, but I think we're in a position where I've won this now. Unless they're in a position to do 8 damage in one turn, but I don't think they are.
You gave me no choice.
Oh, no, they do. Ah, shoot. Ah, I thought I was close. I was close. GG, Trevanx. I forgot about ping. Ping is an interesting ability. But yes, there's lots of skirmishes that we can do, and there is a I forget what these things are called, but a lot of live service games have them, where it's like an EXP meter where you unlock a bunch of stuff like cosmetics and things like that as you play. A progress tracker, battle pass. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm relatively used to the idea. You've probably seen me play Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel on stream before, and that has a battle pass system in it. I've kind of never bothered using the premium currency on anything like that, but that this game has that as a way to unlock new things is nice. I entirely did not mean to do a versus player. Definitely meant to do a versus AI. Let's do an AI match as well while we're here and thinking about it.
My objective is my vow.
This is so fun! In serious. Let's party!
Okay. So, because we're playing an AI, we don't need to worry now. Had meeting. No problem, Dex. How's it going? You're in time for me to go fight the AI and see how it goes. I lost my first match against a human player, but that is okay. We learned some things. I'm very bad at trying not to overextend. that kind of like a strategy of placement is a thing that I definitely need to learn in this genre of game. Invulnerable for a turn or reinforce. Stasis field. Stun a unit for a turn. Can't be ordered and can't fight. That sounds good. Disruptor beam. Yeah, let's be able to stun units. That feels like a very good thing to have. So in our bridge, we have been given 3 units. I don't know whether we like I need to explore the team building aspect of this, whether it just gives me 3 random units of all the units I own, or if I can kind of like narrow that down. We'll explore that after we do this match. But we have Furia, who needs to keep attacking. We have Snareling, who can immobilize units with attacks. And we have Crankbait, to the grappling hook user. This enemy, who I just want to call the Tatsunari Toad Rider, like the card from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. The myth of Jiraiya, right, is the ninja character that rides upon a toad. Astra is the name of this character. They have boost morale, permanently reduce the cost of a random crew on the bridge by 2. That sounds very good. That sounds very, very good. Yes, I did specifically tweak the model to be slightly translucent, so I feel a bit more virtual projection AI-ish. I'm glad that carries. Thank you. And into the breach, remove stunned from a... Oh. This unit very specifically has the ability to remove the effect that I can place on the units. That's good. That's good. Okay, fine. We are going to go and place ourselves... What, like here? We don't need to use Shield of Hope yet. F for my stunned power. I mean, if it... Oh, it's a ranged attack too. Can I be shot? I can be shot.
Just stretching your tongue.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna have to be very, very careful about my placement then.
Hand where you can see it.
Okay. And we're gonna go and move myself back into cover. Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. We have the ability to summon Snareling if we'd like to. We also can use Stim Burst to make our allies move faster, which I think we'll do.
Many ways to fight.
Cool.
Be brave.
Does that put me in base-to-base contact? It does. Nice.
My path is clear.
We're going to attack.
I will not rest.
We're going to Sword of Justice.
I do what I must.
Let's see here. Can I grappling chain you? I absolutely can. Get over here. Gonna get into melee range and then bonk him. Bonk.
You weren't invited.
Nice. End turn. Oh, you can hop over characters because you're in a frog outfit. That makes sense. You're riding a frog so you can jump around. This makes sense. You summon a thing with shrapnel, a shotgun, can only attack units in range, attack all nearby units when attacking, and a Medabot. Okay, okay. Well, one thing I'm definitely going to make you do, you don't get to use your healing unit unless you go pay money, since you're so insistent. We're going to summon Snareling. I think this side. We are going to... Ah, you're just out of melee range, I see.
These paradoxes give pause.
Am I not quite in range to be able to actually attack you? That sucks. We're just gonna go here and Shield of Hope myself.
Use this wisely.
End turn. Is there flanking damage? I don't know. Shotgun does only 2 damage but hits AoE. This makes sense. Okay, we have 5 units available. We have 5 available, so we can summon Furia, which might be worth doing. Furia feels like a bit of a powerhouse. We are definitely going to melee you. You don't have a counter hit, so that's fun. We are gonna... What are we gonna do? We're gonna move you over here. And then we're gonna... Oh, I don't have the MP for grappling chain. Yeah, because I summoned my big boy. This makes sense. I'm gonna use my ranged attack to go and shoot you in the back.
You a training dummy?
And then move myself, like, way out of combat.
I forget not.
I still have move for Extilio.
With righteous intent.
Let's give you that extra move. And then we're just gonna also move a reasonable way back. Meaning that you can't surround any individual one of us. You will have to, wherever this unit moves now, there'll be somebody in a position to go and attack them. So we're keeping our spheres of movement and damage pretty open across the battlefield to be able to keep attacking the lead unit. That seems to make sense to me.
Anguish builds strength.
Mm-hmm.
A child's kiss. I'll be there, stat.
Oh. Ah, that's a ranged heal. I see. You can... Oh, okay, I was going to say, if you go and try and shotgun her, she will just...
It's fine. I'm fine.
Oh, this is a ranged unit. Interesting. For big damage, too. Well, that's not enough to kill, but it's something. Ah, it missed. That's no good.
Paradoxes give pause.
We can use Shield of Hope on our ally there to kind of keep them protected. Sword of Justice will actually hit this turn, so that's good.
You will not harm them.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's see. I can probably move somebody out of position here with Grappling Chain. But who do I move? Who do I move? I can try and pull our champion unit away. Or I can try and pull my champion unit out of the way. But my champion's pretty healthy. I'm not too worried about him. It might be a matter, actually, of... Excuse me.
Check out these moves.
Using Grappling Chain to displace you from combat. Your shotgun is probably pretty scary, so let's go and make sure you don't get the chance to use it. No damage. Wow. Big armor. Anyway. You haven't moved yet. Okay. Let's move you. Here. End turn. Medical recall. Oh, returning a unit that's about to die. Sure, sure, sure. Makes sense. Dead units are gone from the rest of the match.
No shame in running. I'll go with.
Oh, you can do that every turn, huh? All right.
Pain means I'm alive.
Well, we can use our ability to supercharge for free, so let's go and do that.
That is wise.
I've recently learned that IRL, it's actually better to get shotgunned from way close rather than further away. I thought that was neat compared to what video games have taught me. I guess you're probably more likely to be hit with shrapnel in a wide variety of areas on your body if you're further away. I'm not quite sure about the mechanics of that, but that sounds interesting. We have a lot of Cinder to work with here, so let's use one of them to summon a new unit to our deck. We have Tipu, the one that gets stronger every time they kill a unit. That's not super great in this scenario, but that's fine. We're going to move you first. We're going to attack you. And then run away. We're going to move you. Yeah, I'm base-to-base contact with you.
Prepare to face your fate.
We're going to use Sword of Justice to attack both of these units without any ability to counterattack. We're going to Shield of Hope ourselves.
Defensive field.
And then doing a melee attack against you. And even if you counterattack, it doesn't do that much damage. Excellent.
Anger is petty.
We have our ranged unit here. There is a... Yeah, we're going to shoot you. For 2 damage. Excellent, excellent. We're probably going to move you over here.
Open wide.
So you are now stuck here.
Last time they had invisible snack trays and nude waiters.
Why does this not do any damage? Armor. Oh, so it just says a flat -1 on any damage that it takes? Okay. Interesting. Cool. We're gonna move you, like, over here. You are no longer specifically useful. What I will do, though, is use grappling chain on you.
Get over here.
So you are less in of a position to go and heal your friend. End turn.
I've gotcha.
Patient.
No fair.
Ooh, you actually have an attack.
Anyone see that?
And you can heal yourself.
It's almost time.
Good to know, good to know. All right. Well, we have the ability. Our stun is online, which I think we are going to use again to go and put your little robot offline. We don't want any of that. We are going to. I think we win now because we can Sword of Justice for 3.
I do what I must.
And then we just melee for 1 and it's a guaranteed kill. Take that! Get out of here! Get out of here! Alright, nice. And we do actually get to progress on the battle pass even with fighting AI, so that's nice. If you're not the kind of person that likes doing specifically competitive matches, you can do AI battles and still kind of gain. We don't get a lot of EXP. Maybe you gain more XP for fighting another person. In the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, you pretty much gain one of the things on the battle pass per match that you win. Excuse me. Which is really nice. You do actually feel like you're progressing quite heavily that way. We played an online match, so we can claim that. We won a match versus an AI. Excellent. Let's look at the collect and paint, shall we? So we have these are the units that we own. We have Arya, who we've seen. The rifle lady. We have Crankbait. Being suspended by the jets is a very much a pretty recent, I would say, approach to tabletop miniature design. Using effects to suspend a miniature is something that's a lot more common in miniature design these days. A lot of old school minis don't really do that kind of thing much. This kind of wiggly noodle cable would actually be quite difficult to render. This would probably have to be a hard plastic miniature rather than, say, a pewter one, because that wouldn't, the hand would be too heavy to be suspended by a metal object. It's a cool design, though. We have Detonia, who throws grenades, so that makes sense. I don't think we've used her yet. A lob explosive. We have Extilior, our captain, who is a four-legged robot friend. God, I like a nice robot friend. Surprisingly more, considering how, like, noble the voice is, considerably more scrap-built than the voice would suggest, but maybe that would reflect their lore. I wonder if these would work as an actual tabletop miniature, as in printing these sculpts and poses. Yes, I mean, that would be an astounding piece of promo for them to do, is to actually release a couple of these miniatures as a physical thing to own. I would absolutely, hey folks. Hey folks, if you're watching this in post, and you were like, hey, we really dug the thing that you've done in terms of supporting us, Moonbreaker company. Hey, if you happen to paint one, hit us up, nudge nudge, wink wink, yeah. You know it. It'd be very, very interesting to tackle that, actually. I think some of the way that they detail the bits and pieces in these, because we'll do some of the digital painting in a little bit. And even when I paint in real life, I can get lost in the weeds of doing really fine details that'll take a large amount of time, but you can zoom in infinitely close in the virtual environment, so you can get lost in the weeds when it comes to actually painting one of these things, if it let you. So it'd be interesting to see what a paint job would look like in real life. We used this one already, the bombardment, standing atop a little arms platform. Furia, the cannoneer, very chunky. Look at her design. We were talking a little bit earlier about Kingdom Death Monster and its approach to pin-up style characters. And I didn't go into it at the time, but it's actually really interesting, the kind of miniature designing when it comes to representing diversity from stuff like race and gender, and then also in terms of body type. And depending on the type of game and how long the game has been around, it can do those kind of things very, let's say, variably. There are some games that are really nice mechanically, but because of the way that they design some of their characters, or if they design a lot of their characters in the same way, which is usually my bugbear, you know, I don't mind characters that are curvaceous, that are bodacious, that have the badonkadonk. But if every single woman in your cast is built that way, that is a little boring to me, I would say. It's not necessarily a bad thing, I just think it's personally boring. And you know, if I already own miniatures of a certain aesthetic, I'm not especially encouraged to go and buy more of that aesthetic because I already own one, right? I don't need more. Yeah, Kingdom Death Monster has 4 body types: woman, thick woman, sexy woman, and man. This is true. This is true. Some of the male designs are all right, and they've been working harder on doing some pin-up male models, which is really, really rare in the space of miniature design, and that's nice, good for them. But it does mean it's quite polarizing. One game that I played relatively recently, and I've talked about it on stream before. Oh, not played, that I've obtained the miniatures of relatively recently, and I've talked about on stream before, is oh gosh, love to think of a thing and then immediately forget the name. I have the box in eyeline, so let me retrieve it real quick. Ah, here we go. Human Interface. Human Interface is one of those big box board games that has like Kingdom Death Monster, actually, that rather than being a tabletop board game is a large board game that uses really high quality miniatures for all its bits and pieces, and it has a whole bunch of bonus packs of character models. And there is one bonus pack in Human Interface called the SAR Valkyries, who are a bunch of cyberpunk combat medics. And I really quite liked how they were all of a relatively similar build in terms of like weight and height, but they all actually look really, really different and don't just feel that they are all super one note in terms of their character design. And they all still feel unified as a team, even though stuff like how they wear their outfits and how sexualized those outfits are varies. And that was really nice. I thought that was really cool because it's not just an instead, it's an as well. Having looked through this, actually, I already quite dig how broad the body types are across the characters. In particular, how of the women characters actually already having multiple body types, Crankbait, Detoni, and Furia all look different from each other, and it's quite obvious that they look different from each other. That's cool. I dig that. There can sometimes be a problem in sci-fi things specifically, where every alien or monstrous non-human character, who can obviously really, really vary in terms of body types, are all coded masculine, meaning that all the feminine coded characters are very specifically very human. How many factions are there? This is a good question. We've definitely seen this kind of like, let's say kind of like Aztec, Falcon kind of aesthetic robot kind of faction. We've definitely seen the kind of like a junk kind of faction, Stitchy McPatchy This is one of them. And then we've also seen these kind of like much more alien, myconid, mutant-y kind of factions. So there's definitely 3. Maybe called cultures in this game. There is a drop down. This is true. So we have the smugglers, who are the junker. And there can be aliens within the faction, so that's good to know. The stuffed toy. The stuffed toy is very funny. This is a really detailed miniature. If this was something that was released as a physical miniature, this would definitely be a Malifaux kind of energy. This really like hyper detailed thing. Painting the little stuffed toy would be like, oh my god, what a nightmare. But it's very cool, very patchwork. Let's look at this crosshair. Oh, that's a cool looking alien with their little robot buddy. Oh my god, the little robot buddy's face. Oh my god, look at him. It's so cute. Okay. That's good. I'd use this mini. Rickety backfire. Sure. Yeah, the junker crew, the smugglers, sure. We have the Methodori. The kind of like a Falconeer Egyptian style. I think they would probably be my favorite. I do really like this outfit. This outfit's really cool with the twin knives. We'll paint a different mini. We painted a little bit of this mini last time we did it, and I got super like lost in the weeds in painting the back of this, and then didn't actually finish it. So we're gonna find a different mini to go and paint. Maybe one that's a little simpler, so I can actually finish it on air. But yeah, you know, these are definitely the much more kind of like straight-laced in terms of design. A lot of heavy armor style units is not really my jam. I don't really vibe for that kind of like, ooh, I'm a soldier. Ooh, look at you with your extendo fist. And gains first strike, meaning that they're immune to counter hits. That's cool. What are these buttons?
When I rise, they cower.
I see. The animation for them falling to bits, I see. And then we have the Cholek, who are the fully kind of like alien mutant-y kind of vibe. This is, you know, I know so many people who are into like Tyranids, right? Tyranids being the kind of like xenomorph, Zerg style insectoid aliens in Warhammer 40k like universe. They are very popular, very popular, and I can see people who are into that also being a fan of this. Interesting that we have a humanoid character here who is part of the Cholek. The fact that they've got a little bit of that kind of like the Phoenix metal iconography, sorry, Phoenix Falcon metal iconography with them might mean that they were a defector. You probably unlock the lore once you have the character. Quetzal. And they did say something along the lines, there was a humanoid in the previous model too, they're riding the horrible monster and luring it with something we rolled. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. This is much more of an alien style character up here. Whoa. Let's zoom in on you. Hello. Oh, no. This is a human-ass human. I like your hair decorations, your orbs. Very cool orbs, mate. No, from the hat, I assumed that they were kind of like a myconid kind of thing. A little jellyfish man. But no, it's just a guy. And Ursix Scattervite. Oh, gosh. Wow. Orb pondering. When you're pondering the orbs so much, you attach them to your face. So yes, I have the basic Extilior faction. So this is I guess the deck of units that are in this. Can I edit it? So this tells me the units that I have. Let's see about buying some units, huh? Oh, I can make a new roster. Yeah. So let's go buy some units and then see what we can do with that. Oh, yes. I was given a kind of like a starter pack kind of thing by the designers of the game as well. So I have a couple of things I can just unlock. So I can unlock the Toad Rider. So we now have the Toad Rider as a potential captain. And Zax Jakar. Ooh, I like this unit. That's cool looking. Yeah. We have a cargo run contract, whatever that is. Oh, that's to do the challenge modes of back-to-back fights. And then we have boosters. We can open boosters. Do we have boosters already? We have 10 boosters. A hologram hero. I mean, as your resident hologram, this does feel like they are probably going to be my default captain until we unlock something else. But let's open some boosters, I guess. And you get 3 per booster. I see. Good to know. I mean, if this was a real miniature war game, I think the idea of the miniatures that you'd be using being obtained only through blind boxes is something that not a lot of people would be a huge fan of. I can see that being important for a live service game. I think potentially the ability to go and specifically obtain pre-made packs, even if they are maybe theoretically more expensive than pulling randomly, just to guarantee you get the thing you want would be a very good idea. Because I you know, if there was a particular champion that called to me, this is actually, you know, we can talk about this, and I'm interested in the chat's opinions about this, right? When you get into a tabletop war game or any kind of miniatures game, is it because the mechanics really speak to you, or is it because there is like a unit or like faction that really speaks to you? Because this is clearly a game where you can mix factions. I definitely have some units from the 3 different like cultures or backgrounds in the default pack that they gave me, right? But I was already thinking about which one of those 3 spoke to me the most. 99% a cool model that calls to you, right? Yeah. So like, if I saw a really cool model and was like, oh man, I think that model's really rad, I would love to go and play this game. And they were like, you're not guaranteed to be able to obtain this model, or the price of entry of being able to play with that model, even if you can buy that model outright, is to go and do an X number of extra purchases and steps before you can play, can sometimes be a bit of a personal turnoff for me, actually. I quite like knowing that I can buy a single box of a thing that has the character I like in it and be able to play it straight away. Weirdly enough, the game that I currently play the most, Marvel Crisis Protocol, you can buy the main box and that has enough units in it for you to play out of the gate. But to be able to actually play custom matches, you do need, unofficially, like to buy 3 different packs to be able to just play the game, and that's not super bad, but it is like 60 quid. I think every game I've bought in the last decade plus started with me picking up 1 or 2 models just to paint and then expanding into an actual army. This is true of me as well. This is very, very true of me as well. Recently, I bought a box of God Tier, which is made by Steamforged Games. Steamforged Games is pretty much well known for Guild Ball, and then some of their later projects, which are like the Dark Souls board game and tabletop RPG, although we don't like to talk about that. They're kind of like Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition compatible like monster scenario packs and stuff like that. God Tier is more of a board game than the miniature war game. The sculpts of them are nice, but not necessarily my personal jam. They were very like straight-laced high fantasy, but they recently released like a fairy queen and a bunch of tree monsters that do its bidding, and I'm like, oh no, that's me, that's my thing. Honestly, I feel that isn't bad considering the price of the dragon game. This is true. If I think tabletop RPG miniatures are a very different space from war games, right? Where when you're playing a tabletop RPG, you technically do not need to pay really any money beyond buying the rulebook. But blind box miniatures, yeah, I think are a turn off for a lot of people. I can see that. Who are you? Excuse me, ma'am? A bard character in this game? The person who, I mean, I have a soft spot. You know how I said earlier, if there is a miniature that looks really similar to a thing I already own, I probably won't buy it again. The exception is if the character is playing a musical instrument of some kind, and then I will get it, because I have a soft spot for bard miniatures, even though I don't really play D&D, especially if they're like modern style. If they're playing like a guitar or something, I'm all about that. I read crew as cow and was so confused. Yeah, buy Magic the Gathering singles anyway. Yes, this is true. When you kind of know what you want to do, sometimes you just want to buy singles. And I think this game could also, you know, also in the realms of, because I'm going to talk about the other live service game that I play. Sorry to go and compare this to a different form of tabletop gaming. But in Master Duel, there is opening all those blind packs, but then there's also the ability to just craft specific cards you want, and the rate of crafting them, if there's a deck that you already have in mind that you want to build, is actually quite favorable. It has got dusting, so if you already pull a unit you already have, you can use it to craft something new, which is what Master Duel does. That's good. This is a good thing. I mean, hey, so yeah, we've got this 2 units that we've already got, and they're crafted into. So maybe after we've gone and we open all these blind packs, we go and see how much it costs to go and make something. Because I unfortunately cannot guarantee whether you get 10 boosters just for buying the game. I hope you do, but I don't necessarily know whether that's the case or not. Oh, this is an uncommon unit. That was one of the defense drone things we looked at earlier. Yeah. I guess because the pool is quite small currently in terms of miniatures available, you're very likely to get duplicates. I definitely want the medical robot. It looks really funky. This character also looks really funky. Yeah, even though I'm much more of a cyberpunk kind of person when it comes to sci-fi, I quite like the sculpts in this. They can be quite interesting. They have this interesting blend of organic fantasy and mechanical. Yeah, no, this is definitely a dusting game, as it is proving from here, so that's good. If we're going to have blind boxes, the ability to be able to specifically get the thing you want on the other side of it, good. Rickety backfire. And it seems it's also tracking how many packs you open. And after you open 20 packs, you are guaranteed a legendary unit. So that's good. I don't know what a legendary unit would constitute of as in this game. I guess we just need to see the full crew list. Maybe a hero. You don't own any boosters, and we would have to buy more. They cost this premium currency of pulsars. We've been given our 3 captains. So captains are obtained separately to individual units. This is good to know. And this is the rate for buying the premium currency. Okay. So we have obtained some new units. Could you do me a favor and look out how much a booster costs in pulsars and what the premium currency rates are? Oh, sorry. Yeah, we can go bring that information back up. So in terms of buying boosters, And I'm not very good at maths here, so I'm going to be relying on all of you to kind of do the maths if it's a thing that you want to work out how to do. So it seems that normally to buy a 10 pack, which in most gacha games you specifically save up to pull the 10, it's usually cost inefficient to pull fewer than the maximum number in one go, especially since it seems you get a legendary every 20. You would probably be specifically saving up to get sets of 10 so you can get them in every 2 that you release. It costs 300 pulsars normally without the sale. To buy pulsars, to get 300 pulsars just by buying in the premium currency, would be specifically most effectively, hold on, because the easiest way of doing that would be spending the 25 quid to get a full set of buying half. Yeah, about 20 quid per. Which, not a rate that I would personally pay. I always find that one of my personal rules in the very small amount of time that I've specifically gone and played gacha games and put in money for the pulls is checking how much would it cost me to do a full 10 pull, and how long does it take me to earn the pulsars to do a 10 pull. And if it feels that it would cost me a ridiculous amount of my own time to go and do the 10 pull, I can be like, I don't know. We can be wary about those kind of things. So I guess one of the things that will highlight the longevity of this as a live service game is if I was a free-to-play player, how often would I be able to do the 10 pull without paying any money? You know, I have a limited mental capacity for doing versus games, especially ones of this length, and I would probably not be able to do more than, say, 3 or 4 matches a day before I would get tired and have to spend my brain to do something else. So if I was doing 3 or 4 matches a day, how long would it take me to kind of work out the amount? It's not exceptionally predatory. The touch is a but not intentionally predatory. Yes, there are definitely worse rates than these. There are some aggressive rates. I think Pokemon Unite has a cosmetic skin that would cost you £70 to buy. It can get gross. It can get really gross, and I don't think this pushes that. But it's definitely interesting to kind of know the rates and make an informed decision of the rates versus. Did you open the game with 170 pulsars, or did I earn them? I was given those 170 at start. I cannot tell you whether that is from getting the game as base, or whether I had the kind of like, you know, an early, hey, you're playing day 1, here's some early stuff. Let me check, because I was sent an email. This is an important enough question where I will send an email. Being an informed consumer, send an email. I will check an email. Being an informed consumer is always very important about these kind of things. This is not me saying, hey, don't buy this game because there are microtransactions. That's something you can decide within yourself. Right. There is a founders pack, and what that gets you is an exclusive Captain skin, so alternate colorways for the models. Early access exclusive paint palettes, so you can get some like pre-made colors that you wouldn't get otherwise, and additional 170 additional pulsars, and apparently 1,000 blanks. I do not know what blanks are. Oh, it's these. Earn through play. Right. Gotcha. And you can use those to go and buy a booster alongside a small amount of so you can choose whether you want to either pay 100 of blanks or 30 of the premium currency. So technically you can open, because it would be then 1,000 to get 10 boosters, and then 2,000 to get two sets. Okay, so you are in a position of being able to regularly unlock boosters for free, but you are buying them piecemeal. You open them in a different window, it seems. You don't open them here. And 402 games, so if you're playing 3 to 4 day, it'd be like 10 boosters every 2 days, which makes sense. That seems actually like an okay rate. I would definitely be willing to do that more than trying to work up the premium currency. It's good. I'm glad that we worked out the math together. Even if I didn't necessarily do that math, you guys did that math. But I appreciate us working through that together. Glad that we saw that. Yeah, very glad that we saw that. So the free-to-play options are still very much available. What are the things that I wanted to specifically go and do? I wanted to look at some of the lore and zoom in on these characters a little bit, not that much. I like this. Riding on this like robot drum with your spring jack like leg extenders. Very cool. Very cool. She's also kind of on fire apparently. Whoop. Or like she's carrying little alien fruit to eat on the way in case she gets hungry. She has Battle Frenzy. Give a melee unit pummel for the turn. When a melee unit attacks, it fights twice. Ooh, that's cool. That's cool. 3 steady beats preceding each line. Feel the heat of the sun, every beat, everyone. Every beat lights a spark, let the sun ignite your fire. We dance away from the dark, the tide will light our pyre. The flames, a Cholek festival song with drumming. Unusual bits of lore that define it in a different way. That's cool, that's fun. We also gained Amplifier Beatol. Blindsider et Zeal. This would also be a very fiddly mini to have in physical. Definitely stuff like this pipe. The pipe would like have to be, I think, hard plastic. But the stand that he's balancing on have to be metal. Interesting. Interesting as a piece of construction. We have Tipu, who we've seen, but this is one that we've already unlocked. A booster is just shy of £2 at the lowest exchange rate. That's not the worst. True. True. And a booster does give you 3 miniatures. So, you know, it depends on how you feel about that rate and how many miniatures are available. There may be in a point where you might be able to buy themed boosters that have a narrower range, which is usually what kind of helps card games not feel like you are just swimming in an ocean of cards that you don't find useful, is boosters that have a narrower range of the things you want. And this could probably do with that, depending on how many miniatures they intend to release. We'll explore. A theme booster per culture would be good. Yes, I agree. We have Torian, our dancer. Definitely going on my team. I should probably look to see what it does. Torian's skincare routine, of course. Double cleanse. Oh, thank you for the follow, Aoe Mittens. Welcome back. I do believe I recognize your username, so we've seen each other before. Hi, hello. Double cleanse with red clay mousse, made with clay and spring water from the Methadori cliffs. Exfoliate with memories of white sand scrub, made with the softest Teotep sands. Moisturize with the green Mecta balm, must be imported directly from Cholek. Mineral sunscreen after moisturizing. Increase protection level when visiting inner moons or flying airships or beasts. Hey, be like Torian. Use sunscreen every day. Just because it's not sunny outside doesn't mean that the sun doesn't exist. You should be protecting your skin every day. Even if you're a person of color like myself, if you have a deep skin tone, you too should be using sunscreen as part of your general moisturization routine. Just don't leave the house. It's the better choice. Hey, you need to get like vitamin D or you give yourself rickets. People made themselves sick during the pandemic of just never going outside and not getting any sun. That is a great way to make yourself horrendously ill. I know you're being haha funny jokes, but I'm serious. I think that this is an important thing that a lot of people don't consider, is the amount of sunlight is actually super important for human beings. I am an AI construct and don't need to worry about skin cancer and similar things, but y'all have to. We also have a Gauntlet character who I think looks really cool. Inner Energy, gain +3 attack and first strike. Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't look at the ability of our fabulous Torian. Intercept. Torian. Guardian. The Torian Guardian is the name of the character. And the nearest ally in range of line of sight are 4% harder to hit. AIs need their vitamin D bug. Yeah, there we go. Excellent. How am I liking the game so far? I mean, I need to play more games. Like any kind of like a competitive game, your understanding of the system comes through putting the time into doing the thing. So I guess I should probably, what I think we're going to go and do is we're going to go and build a team. And then we're going to go and fight another AI. And then we're going to go and take a break. And then we're going to go and do some miniature painting for the rest of the stream. Do they store it in their D drive? But sure. Nice. Actually, the form that you see before you is indeed stored in the D drive. Have I gotten into the painting yet? I did one of the paintings in the open weekends a couple weeks ago, but we have yet to do any painting this stream. I'm looking forward to it. I enjoyed doing it last time, so we'll definitely get into it. And I want, where's the guy on the platform? Yeah, look at Hologram Man. Hologram Man who still has some kind of mechanized bits. Ooh, how they've done that is really clever. Kind of like a simulated chromatic aberration on the edges. That is really cool. That is something that I will have to bear in mind when doing a miniature for reals in real life, because that effect is sick. I really like that. Very cool. As a captain, they have back off, push target when you hit an enemy, sure. Create a sleeper mine. It takes 1 turn to arm. The gravity disc move units in an area together. A DB. Never seen anything like it. Looked like one of those cheesy holo ads, but he was walking around. Like some ad decided to just stop selling pops and take a stroll through town. But it was him. Well, it looked like him. Why bother programming a blue hologram of yourself, projected by some robot? Gotta be some brilliant plan. Can't wait to see it blow up. Yeah, that is really cool. It is really cool. There's a couple of miniatures that I specifically want to make look like cyber ghosts, and I've been looking into various techniques in terms of painting them. This could be something that I would have to bear in mind for it. Yeah. No, this mini is genuinely really cool. This robot seems like it'd be very difficult to paint. I would definitely struggle doing the kind of like fire effect and the rusting effect, but I think this is probably going to be the thing we'll paint today. We'll see how far into it we get painting, even if we do a basic coloration. We have Stitchy McPatchy, our healer. Definitely using that. We have Deadeye. Give a ranged ally 40% accuracy for 2 turns. Oh, because it gives them a little guy with a scope on the back. I see. The lab complex is towards the gloom side, so it was harder to see. But I saw someone exit, hurried, looking around, holding a metal crate with holes in it. She put it on a trailer hitched to a hoverbike, disappeared back inside, and then emerged with another. After a third crate was loaded, she took off, fast. Some men in lab coats poked their heads out the door, confused. I didn't think much of it, till I read some biologists liberated 3 blue-horned ozos on Shen. I don't know what that lab does, but frankly, I'm glad she did. Boaty McBokeface got a medical degree. Yes. Yeah, no, we have enough different units now where we can just make a new roster. And we can design the flag, which we'll do last. We're going to be using Zax Jakar because I think that looks mad cool for sure. And then we got to decide on what our units are. Do we know anything about team building yet? Absolutely not. Are we just going to pick the units that we think look really pretty? For sure, definitely. We're definitely picking Torian. We're definitely picking Drum Dance Tali. We are for sure picking Antios Gauntlet. Who else did I think looked cool? Crankbait is just useful, so we're definitely taking her. And I like the vehicle that she's riding on. Very Necromunda. Who else do I like? I suggest sending them to an escape room and treating them to pizza afterward. That should be good team building. Yeah. We're going to take Deadeye because that passive ability looked really good. Ranged units seem actually quite good in this game. We'll take Maximus. And then we should probably take some melee units. It seems a lot of the melee unit... Oh, we need to take Stitchy McPatchy. There we go. And then we need to take some units that are just going to punch some things. So Amplifier Bitol, maybe? Snarling is, I think, a melee unit that we can take. And one last one. Who do we want to take last? Chuck and Co, maybe. That seems like a cool robot lad. Love a cool robot lad. Nice. And then we can decide what our banner looks like. So we have the different kind of like headers. We have 3. I quite like this Tron looking one. We have some torn ones. I see. Notched spear. Celebrate curvature. Something we haven't touched on. Is there a marked power difference between common and uncommon units? I have no idea. I guess we play to find out. Ooh, I like this one. That's cool. That doesn't fit with this shape. Maybe this one? Yeah, that looks good. Oh, and these are the effects on the top, so we're gonna go for this. Like a blue-purple. Yeah, there we go. Sick. Save. Do we know the difference between common and uncommon units in terms of what they do? No, we have not looked into that because they're not really highlighted as being common or uncommon like in this menu, right? You would figure that if it was very specifically important that a miniature that was uncommon being just de facto better, they would probably highlight that. But there doesn't seem to be anything visually representing their rarity in this menu. All right, we'll save. Oh, we can name it as well. We're calling this Caster's Crew. Fantastic. Save. All right, let's go and be very reckless and go fight an AI. An AI, please. Maybe this little like wiggle thing here, maybe this is a representation of its rarity. I don't know. Anyway.
Take a sec to behold.
This is a very bright area.
And high fives.
Hey there.
Plink in that previous fight was very, very useful, being able to go and either heal damage or deal damage every turn. I think that's probably what we'll take this time around. All right. So we're fighting Astra, the Tatsunori Toad Rider. Boost morale. Into the breach, remove stun from a unit. Cool. We have a ranged shot and sleeper mine. Create a sleeper mine. It takes 1 turn to arm. All right. Let's move ourselves. Let's use Plink immediately.
What have we got here?
And just deal that 1 damage for free. Do we want to put a mine down? Sure.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah, figured it out. Oh, do tell. Rarity determines how many cosmetics and customizations you can plop on it. I see. Good to know. Is there something we can summon for 2 from the bridge? We do. Whenever Maximus damages target, refresh its move. Ooh, that's cool. Give melee unit pummel for 1 turn. We do not have a melee unit yet, so we're going to use Maximus. We're going to take Maximus, and we're going to put him, like, here.
Ready for my close-up.
Contestant
Ooh, thank you for the follow, Thomas7. Hello, hello. Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding. We do have copies of Moonbreaker to give away at end of stream, and we're giving it away to anybody who either links in chat today a picture of a miniature that they've painted. I've given the theme of funkiest miniature, but any miniature that you've painted or proud of, I would love to see it. And we're going to see all the various miniatures that people have linked at end of stream, and I'll be randomly awarding 3 of them a code copy of this game. So if that sounds like something that you would enjoy, please do consider taking part. Yes, this is a range unit. How long is the stream going to be? I tend to run for about 3 hours or 3.5. After this match, we're going to go and take a 5-minute break. Then we're probably going to do about an hour of painting, and then we're going to go and look at things. So, yeah, in about another hour, 20 minutes, at most another 2 hours. Even if you're not on stream, if you happen to be a winner, because you've messaged me on Twitter or whatever, I'll be able to go and contact you. You'll be fine. We're going to put a sleeper mine here as well.
Hope you like bombs, because I lost the gift receipt.
We're also going to go and ping you for 1 damage. Nice.
The best toys.
Hey, the fact that you had to waste your turn to be able to destroy that is A-okay with me.
Let me at them.
Nice. The mines are very good. I quite like the mines. And because you're at 1 health, I can just kill you. Goodbye.
Even the mightiest gauntlet must recharge.
I would like to earn enough Cinder to summon Chuck and Co. So what we're going to go and do is, what do we have in terms of ranged? 68, 74. Yeah, we'll do that as a straight shot. Oh, you shoot twice. That's cool. What's your movement ranges? Yeah, okay.
This moon's talking to me.
We're gonna move you like here. Ah, gosh, this thing's dodgy. Dodging attacks every day. I think I am gonna have to put a sleeper mine like here, just to kind of keep this space occupied, and then I will end my turn. Hey, Mage Armor, how's it going? How's it going? The game is fun. I mean, it's adjusting to a mixture of this being both something that is a live service game. Escape hatch.
When you call, I come.
Ooh. Did a whole bunch of things in 1 turn there. However, because you've all grouped up, I have Orbital Strike as a thing that I can do. Well, Mage Armor, if you happen to be a person who paints miniatures in real life, we are doing a giveaway of 3 copies of this game, and all you need to do to enter is to go and show me a picture of a miniature that you've painted. So if that sounds like a thing that you would enjoy, please do consider that as an option to earn a fantabulous prize. We're going to go and deploy Chuck and Co. like here. We don't need to...
My plans come to fruition.
Like my battle mask?
Maximus damages target, refreshes move. Okay, cool. So we are going to move you. What, like here? Then do a ranged attack that's guaranteed damage. Oh my god, it blocked both of those. That's bad.
Need a moment to take all this in?
We're going to shoot you. 25% chance, 44% chance. Okay, okay. Maybe we need to go and adjust ourselves in terms of positioning. Let's put ourselves here. Use range attack to go and kill you. There you go.
But how?
And then we're going to go and put Sleeper Mine right here.
Look, shiny.
I really quite like the strategy of how Kha'Zix is a League of Legends character. Zax Jakar works in terms of being able to zone enemies out with these mines and just using them to put them in the way of people. That is very good. I like that. We're gonna go and put our drum beater over here.
Tona thrums inside us.
Sick. And turn. Ooh!
The spirit willing.
An AoE attack. Ow. You might kill the sniper this turn, maybe, depending what you end up doing.
Onward, Ferg!
Okay. Summoning a new unit.
Fine, it's fine.
We can use Plink to heal a unit, so let's go and heal this unit.
Oh, dang!
You just throw a med kit out of the air, bonks them in the head, and it heals them 1 point. That's great. We are going to activate Battle Frenzy on... Oh, it has to be in line of sight. I see. I see. Okay. We're going to cancel that. We're going to move you. Throw a unit and deal 1 damage to it. Oh, that's wild. We're going to move you here. We're going to activate you, Battle Frenzy, on this unit to give you double strike. We're going to melee you. And then we're going to toss you... Oh, backwards or whatever. It just throws them backwards, but there's an object in the way, so it didn't do it. That's fine. Good to know. You...
I've got plans soon.
Can I just range shoot you now? Oh, it'd be counter hit and I would die. Okay. We're going to move you just out of melee range. And then we're going to shoot you so I can't be counter hit. And it didn't proc. Okay, fine. You.
This moon's talking to me.
We're going to gravity disc all of y'all. Like here. Nice. Yeah, it sets off the gravity disc sets off the bomb. That's really cool. Can I kill you? 67% chance to kill. We'll take that odds. Nice. Fantastic. And then I'm just going to go hide. I'm just going to hide like a big coward.
Your adrenaline roars.
You also stay over here. Oh. Oh gosh.
Sorry, next round is blasted.
Destroyed himself to destroy one of my units, but oh. Okay, okay.
A perfect day for righteous battle.
We're slightly ahead on damage, but this is less of a straightforward victory than one would hope. Let's see here. We're gonna plink you for one. Summon a random ally. Stitchy McPatchy, excellent. Do I summon them now? Maybe. We'll see.
Victory's in our grasp.
I am out of melee range. Okay. I get a hordes vibes from this game. The focus on killing the leader, generating resources to do extra stuff, very warmer hordes. Oh, I see. Ah, and then you can throw them real far away. Goodbye.
Bring 'em down.
Yeah, nice. Stay out of my way. We're gonna go here, so this absolutely unit can protect my ally.
Drinks just go right through me.
I found a funky mini to send. Heck yeah. Yeah. Reply to either that tweet. If you reply to the tweet, it's a little easier. But if you're in a position to just link it in chat, that will count, and I'll log that for when we do the giveaway later. Either way works. We are gonna. That's not a guaranteed kill, but that is okay. That shoots for 2. I'm gonna throw a sleeper mine here.
Surprise! I know I shouldn't have.
And then we're gonna maintain our position. We don't need to move. Turnendo. These units are very focused on specifically just taking a turn to destroy the mine, which is good. You know, if they're wasting their resources to go and blow those up instead of attacking me, I'm entirely okay with that.
A steamy ballet.
I ache for battle.
Nope, I have heavy armor.
Build strength.
All right, let's use Plink to get rid of this unit.
Nice.
Farewell. And we have a whole bunch of things that we can summon. So we're gonna summon Stitchy McPatchy just out of range.
Oh boy, combat.
We're gonna move you into base-to-base contact with you. We're gonna melee you, and then just throw you across the room.
How does your doom feel?
And then summon a new unit.
Breaking records and hearts.
Zax's little combat barks are very funny to me. He's a showman. I understand. We form an accord between he and I. What I would love to do is pull these units horizontally this way, which I might see if I can get units to do that.
Get acquainted.
Yeah, there we go. Line of sight blocked.
A faint whisper.
Nice. I'm still gonna maintain myself being bunkered down there. I don't need to worry about that. But yeah. The combat decisions in this are all very interesting.
These guns must be wet.
You have yet to see power.
All right, we're just gonna continue to do passive plink damage to you. We have charged orbital strike, so I will immediately do that. You, I think, could probably kill this turn. If we move to like here. Yeah, you die.
Dress me in nothing but garlands.
I throw a sleeper mine here. I use gravity disc to pull you both backwards and hopefully into each other. You.
If we hurt their feelings.
Use nutrient syringe on the champ to give you your health back. And just move to just sit around here. You move here. We go for melee. We throw you. Oh, yeah, this team's good. I like this team. This team works really well in terms of area denial, actually. They have to work super hard. They're having to work super hard to kind of get around my stuff, which is very good. I like this. All right. We have our snareling, although we might not necessarily need to do that this turn. Plink you for 1. I just shoot you for like 2. Oh, it didn't land. We move into melee range. Hit you for 2. And throw you, although I don't think this will do damage. It does do damage. Excellent. Nice. Yeah! Team building! This team seems miserable in the best way. Yes. It's kind of, no. You don't actually get to get close to my champ. Every time I shoot you, you move backwards. You're going to have to go and... I think the CPU was maybe too obsessed with trying to blow up the bombs before the bombs exploded themselves, and we're kind of wasting actions on trying to destroy them. If they had something that could either move the bombs themselves, like throw the bombs elsewhere, like my unit had the ability to go and take something and throw it far away and deal 1 damage. Yeah, they get EXP. I do not know what this means or what this does. Oh my gosh! Marshall, hi. Was this your debut stream today? I forget, because you have been working on your debut stream very recently. I hope you're doing very well. To introduce you to all the glorious and sexy people who have joined us today.
Contestant 1.
Thank you for the follow, Jay Bloodless. I am your androgynous AI game show host from the future, Caster. I play a wide variety of tabletop RPGs, as well as video games that are inspired by tabletop entities, as well as playing a wide variety of retro games. We are currently playing a game called Moonbreaker, which is one of the video voice actors in the debut video. Yes, I'm the CEO of Hell in your debut video. Your video is super good, by the way. I hope all the folks that were tuning in saw that and were like, "Oh my god, all the artwork you drew for that is amazing," because it was really, really good. It was really good. I hope you've had a good stream. But yes, Moonbreaker, for those who do not know, is the latest by... Let me go and get the developer name correct, because otherwise it would be very, very embarrassing if I got it wrong. They've previously, I think they previously developed like Unknown Battlegrounds. They did a whole bunch of stuff. But yes, this is a video game that is designed to reflect the world of tabletop. Crafton Incorporated, or published by Crafton, who previously published Unknown Battlegrounds, but developed by Unknown Worlds Entertainment. There we go. Is designed to be a experience of a tabletop miniature war game reflected in a digital environment, right down to the fact that you can go and paint the individual miniatures, which is really, really cool. We've just been experimenting with building a team, and our team is really cool, mostly because how can I edit team? Let me edit team. Mostly because the champion of the team is a hologram that moves on top of a battleship. Look at him. Look at him. He's so cool. Ah, that's dope. And hey, as an AI myself, I feel a kinship there. So yeah. What you are all in time for is on one hand, you are all in time for a 5-minute break because I need to go and refresh. Looks like Harry from Disco Elysium. Yes, the facial hair is very much that energy. But also, yes, what is going to be happening at the end of the stream is that, hey, you can go and send in a picture of a miniature that you have painted, either directly into chat or into that Twitter thread that is in that post that Valthic has very kindly highlighted. And I will be selecting 3 people randomly from the list of people who do do that. And then we'll be giving away 3 copies of this game as Steam codes as a little bit of a prize. So if that's something you're interested in doing, go do that. And go do that in the next 5 minutes while I go and take a break and refresh myself, go and do some liquid cooling. When I return, we're going to be doing a little bit of the miniature painting, because the miniature painting is really, really interesting, and I am very excited to show it off. So, why doesn't everybody go and take 5? Go and take a nice stretch, and I will see you all in 5 minutes for some miniature painting. Be right back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. How you doing? How you doing? The tablet has been set up. We have rehydrated. I have seen the additional contestant entries for the prize giveaway. Thank you for sharing your minis with me. They're all very cool. They're all very pretty. I appreciate y'all. I know, Marshall, that you are also a miniature painter. So yeah, you also definitely need to go and get one of your minis into this so we can all have a look at it as well. But yeah. In addition to the war game side of things, we also have the collect and paint side of things. We can look through individual rosters. Let's see here. We previously painted Torian last time when we did the kind of like pre-release weekend. Sorry if my character looks down. A lot more I'm obviously looking at my tablet rather than directly at the screen, but you know, it tracks, you understand. But I think now that we've unlocked him, I wouldn't mind having a go at painting a little bit of Zaxjakar. Whether I would be able to finish it to this standard in the next hour, I seriously doubt. But we will have a go. We'll have a go at painting them. So, does this have alternate schemes? It does not. We are going to go and make a new scheme. Nice. We get very relaxing music when we are in this mode. I actually quite like the painting music in this game. Speed painting, let's go. I was never any good at speed painting. We're turning the mask on. No, we need to mask off for this bit because we're doing the spray paint stuff. So we need to go and put a base color on this mofo. You know, spraying directly onto gray is usually a great way to have gray in lots of bits and pieces that we don't want. So what we're going to go and do is that we're going to go into the airbrush option. We're going to go and see if we can find a nice deep purple that I would like to use. This Flora Nectar Purple is probably a good choice. And we want a large brush size. And we're just going to start painting, spraying the purple on as we go. I could probably stand to turn the music up slightly now that we're... because it's surprisingly low in my ears. How wild can we go? Can we underpaint? So there is the ability of... how is this, by the way, in terms of audio level? It doesn't seem to be louder than my voice, but do let me know if it needs to be turned down. You can set an opacity for any of the paints that you use. And there is stuff like washes and dry brushing. But some stuff that you might try and do doesn't quite work in the same way. So underpainting doesn't quite work. Imagine painting virtual figures instead of getting through your pile of shame. Shut up. Shut up. Don't. How dare you? I mean, I'm working on my pile of shame slowly, in bits and pieces. I try my best to not buy too many new minis when I have previous things to be working on. And in a way, I'm trying to get a lot of my state into things that I can use them as game pieces. So even if that means that they are base coated and sprayed, and if they're based and sprayed, then that is more usable than they would be just, you know, on the sprue, right? I don't like having my minis on sprue when I can have fun actually playing with them, even if they're not done yet. Actually, we can probably stand to. Yeah, this probably works a little faster if I actually just zoom out. You're not super zoomed in when you're base coating minis. Fuck Piles of Shame, but I'll 20 buys 20 more minis. I mean, I do definitely buy new minis sometimes that there's been some that I keep a little like a little Google Doc of minis that I think are cool and want to go paint someday. And I've been slowly, you know, finishing existing things and therefore going back and buying new ones. And sometimes you just, you know, you get involved in like Kickstarters and shit where you get new minis that are part of the process and you're like, well, you know, this just gives me the motivation to go paint this in the future. We are definitely wilding out in terms of views, in terms of how we're spraying this. Do I have an airbrush in real life? Absolutely not. I do not have the ventilation space to be able to do something like that in my house. But this works for now. We have, I think we have this basically coated all over in purple now. Nice. And my pal's actually down over the last few months. Okay, good, congratulations. And from a high angle, we're going to go turn the masking on. So this is something that I didn't realize that this had. One of the things that I ran into when I was painting this when I was doing this last, is that it would be very easy to accidentally paint on something behind what I'm actually looking at or in front of what I'm actually looking at. Down a net of 26 points as the start of the year. Oh, you're doing Pile of Shame golf. Yeah. I get you. We want a brighter color that we can use. We don't have pale sand available to us, but I'm sure we can find an equivalent. We probably want a smaller brush size, and we're just gonna. Spray the top of the mini. That Zenithal lighting. Way easier than actual Zenithal priming, I guess. How's that look? Yeah, that looks reasonable. He's being lit from behind. That's cool. Technically, we could have probably done it on this side and specifically light his face, but lighting the back is quite nice. About the same, just less mess. That tracks. That tracks. All right. So now that we've got our base coats out of the way, we can start slathering some paint on. We need to kind of decide what color scheme we want to go and paint them in. I mean, would it be really self-serving to go paint it in my own color scheme? If this is supposed to be the mini that is my champion and will be representing me while I play the game, shall I go paint them like myself? Yes. Okay, excellent. Apparently, we had access to like some color scheme, colorway, like paint colors that aren't ones that you can get normally, like some bonus. Of course I should. Sure. Well, okay. We need then, as a first port of call, to start, I think, painting the base of this miniature, the robotic parts of it. The robotic parts of it should probably be in my silver with accents in the blue. All the kind of like plates would be in the blue. And then all the like arms and stuff would be in the silver, right? So we're in this kind of size. All right, cool. But we are also going to drop the opacity a little bit, so we still get some of that purple underneath. And it is, with the masking on, Very, very easy to not, you know, paint outside the lines. Much easier to and that's fine, you know. I like the idea that this is easier than painting minis in real life. It might even be a nice way to go and test out color schemes and ideas in a virtual environment. Oh, please. Hey, hello. Give me a sec while my tablet fights me. There we go. It might be a good way of testing out ideas in terms of color schemes that can then be painted in real life later. If you're going to be painted digitally, you might as well use every helpful tool available. Yeah. Like, the act of painting is something that is relaxing to me, but also sometimes you don't want to do an activity that's hard. Sometimes you want to do an activity that is very easy. See, so because I have the masking on, I am not actually painting over this extra bit of explosion. It is actually remembering that I'm painting the sphere and making sure that's where the paint is going. Godsend, love that. Yeah, this blue is in a stronger blue than what I would normally use for my blue. We're going to be building up to electric blue. I can afford to go larger on this. But having a very strong base tone, I think, is a nice idea for then building upon as we go. I feel like dragging my mouse back and forth is more tedious than actually laying paints with a brush. I can see that. There is a physics to using actual paint when you're pushing the paint around that obviously digital painting does not do. And in the use of that lets you go and essentially push the paint across the model to where you need it on things. And I can see that making the process a lot faster in some specific ways. So, you know, pros and cons to everything. Let's go and drop the opacity of this a little bit more. Okay, there we go. It's all about experimenting. Underpainting, I don't think, is super effective in this unless you are very light touched. Because if you paint over something you've already painted, then it adds additional opacity layers, which makes sense. I wonder if it would be pertinent for it only to increase the opacity of the thing that you're painting if you lift your pen or mouse up and put it back down again, and then that adds a new layer. Because obviously, if you were working with a glaze, if you're going back over the same area with a brush, you're not actually making it more opaque. You're just adjusting where that layer of paint is on the model. And simulating that digitally would probably be really fucking difficult. So I can understand why this doesn't necessarily do that. And we're going to go and paint the main chassis of this also in blue. Sorry. Cyber sneeze. But hey, you know, this gives me, like if we were working with regular paints, this gives me the opportunity to go and, you know, sketch out where I want color and then go back in later. Cyber bless you. There we go. Virus from a sketchy website. I mean, sometimes you just interact with people and they've just got viruses sitting around on them, and you don't really know until after the fact that you walk away from that conversation and you're like, oh, they needed some debugging. So there's a kind of like raised plate there. I see. This is a very detailed miniature. I would be quite intimidated to go and paint this in real life, actually. I've had these like cyberpunk themed Malifaux minis for quite a while now. I was very excited to get hold of them because at the time there weren't that many cyberpunk minis like available, just like out in the world. I hadn't really heard of Infinity at the time either that I was looking at them, and I'm like, oh my god, these look so cool. I would love to go and build these and then use them in things. And then I built them, and building them was an absolute nightmare. One of the things that Malifaux specifically does to set itself apart from other games is make the building process of their miniatures unnecessarily difficult. And I'm sure there are people that are used to Malifaux that'd be like, oh, it's not really that difficult. It's annoying, actually, how they build some of them. There was one character in particular who was like a roller skater balancing on a rail, and you had to individually glue the different sides of her feet together. Like the left and right halves of the foot was a glue that I had to do with the filing and setting to get that to be smooth. It took ages. One of them was like a miniature that had like 6 kind of like crab spidery robot legs. And there was nothing in the sculpting of the miniature that helped you make sure you glued in the legs so they sat flat. You would just need to kind of experiment with it or just kind of know how to do that. Nightmare. So much smoother when it's set to lock the paint onto the surface you're working on. Yes, this is saving me so much time. I'm also specifically going a little faster because, hey, as said, we are speed painting. We're just kind of, you know, carving these in and not worrying too much about fully covering the miniature. This is why we set the base. Oh, I just realized there is parts of the base of this orb that are not painted correctly yet. We can afford to set the transparency down a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Yeah, you know, we're working quickly because we've already done this base coat spray. Even if we don't hit all parts of the miniature, it will still be colored. We're not going to have any awkward gray parts after we're done, which is the main thing that we want to avoid. This is why base coat spraying, aside from it also being a nicer surface for the paint to adhere to later when you do additional layers, base coat sprays are so important for just kind of, you know, helping the initial bits of your painting process go a little smoother in hiding any hard to see or hard to reach bits with your brush. Is there an option to use nuln oil? Washes are a thing.
Contestant 1.
Oh, thank you for the follow, Crix30. Hello, hello. Washes are absolutely an option. Yes, so for Crix30, hello, hello. We are giving away copies of Moonbreaker to 3 lucky individuals. To enter in for a chance of winning, all you need to do is go to either that Twitter link that I posted, or just post in chat a miniature that you have painted and you are proud of. And we're going to look at them, and I'm going to say nice things about them all because it's cool for you to have painted something. But can I digitally ruin my non-oil with digital metal particles from a digital metal paint? Metallic paints are not in this game yet, and also I didn't realize you could ruin your non-oil like that. even though I do use washers, I do definitely use washers a lot, but I've kind of sort of refused to use Nuln oil, not because it's kind of like, oh, you know, it's called digital talent and I like making my life harder for myself by doing different things. It's not that. It's more, I really like using washes to put an intense color into the recesses. So I tend to use Games Workshop's like dark purple or dark blue instead of black a lot for washes. Because I like having that additional pre-arranged color depth. Speaking of, let's do a wash now. So we've selected wash as one of the properties. And we're going to set the opacity to be about halfway. And we're going to use it in this. We're just going to set it into the... So it's very much only tinting the space. Get the wash. This is much more of it says wash, but these work much more like inks. I've ruined a non-oil with metal particles, but I use it to wash metals and things that are supposed to be metallic. That makes sense. I've definitely used a dry palette, like the kind of palette that just has lots of little dishes rather than using a wet palette, to mix washes and metallic paint to be able to get the metallic flecks in the wash intentionally. That has been fun to do and quite rewarding. I am a big fan of effects paint. I definitely like using effects paint on things. So we have a lot of the basic bits of this armor painted in blue or tinted with the silver, which we will then go into in greater detail to be able to detail that out. Shall we do that now? Let's do that now. I have a purple metallic paint. I can't figure to use it. It's so pretty. I mean, the answer is just on whatever the fuck you want. I'm like because I don't paint a lot of like grimdark stuff. I mostly, you know, paint kind of brighter, poppier subject matter. I'm quite free to use silly colors and things. You know, on that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure tip. We want a smaller brush size. We want a higher opacity because we are now doing layer work. We're going to go in with this kind of like lighter gray. Do we have a desaturated kind of like, actually we can put it into this and then work our way up to this highlight color that we're using. We're going to dry brush that highlight color. So we're going to use the paint and just kind of like build up the color on these surfaces. Again, we're not aiming to be hyper precise. Like with real miniature painting, these miniatures are going to be seen from really far away, and so hyper detail is actually kind of not really that important. You know, we're just specifically picking out details as we go, and then using that to suggest space. And then if it feels that things need additional like in-depth detailing for like accuracy, so if it looks strange, we can go in and fix those. But for now, we're just carving out the space. Awful at attacking the pile. Last big project was so long ago. Yeah, my as I was saying earlier, I like making sure that I have built my minis, even if I've not painted them, because it does mean that I get to use them as game pieces. I'm not a fan of that. Let's get rid of that. Down this edge. Yeah, there we go. but there's lots of ones that I've painted, I've based, and even that I've sprayed, but aren't like ready yet because they are, you know, they're still in a position where it's just not there. I haven't put the pedal to the metal yet and properly painted them, but that'll happen in time. It'll happen in time. There's no rush. Obviously, the games that the things that I use in games tend to get painted faster. That's not really a surprise. I seem to have resolved to have gone and painted these in the grey. I'm going to do that in a larger brush than that. Yeah, there we go. That's a bit more like it. Let's go and paint this one as well. There we go. Let's see here. That's already looking... There's more than one tone to the metallic parts, and it already looks like a thing. The blue is still obnoxiously blue, though, so we're going to need to go and give that some layers and get it some context. Start just brushing in the higher areas of this. We can go in with a wash later to make the recesses deeper. Just having fun putting color onto miniature, not stressing. Let's rotate the miniature. Another thing that I think a lot of big miniature painters, or the people who are very good at miniature painting, like to do is being very, very precise about their light sources. And a thing that I've kind of learned recently when working on a project that had very kind of like graphic style coloring to it, it was very much about heavy shadows and only doing the extreme highlights, is that actually kind of maintaining a light source is not really that important. So much as using highlighting to specifically suggest form. Suggesting form is so much more important than being accurate in terms of light source work. Again, especially at distance. It's kind of like, oh, you don't need to stress about it. You don't need to stress about it. It's just, you're doing what you need to do to convey the shape that you are painting is the primary thing. You know, you're highlighting specific edges to highlight to make sure that other edges are not highlighted. What we've done there doesn't make sense light source wise, but it does give definition to the metal arm, and that is what we're looking for. And you know, once we get into the space of doing dry brushing on the edges, that's going to be even more apparent. Remember, there will be a stage later on where we will specifically get into the nitty-gritty and correct our mistakes, but that is not for now. We don't need to worry about that right now. Let's start building up on this blue, because we want to start getting it to a territory where we are in electric blue. We don't super have an electric blue in this list of options here. We do have this hologram. That makes sense. We're going to set it to a slightly wider brush with that level of opacity. Makes about sense to me. What does this look like on this? Oh, yeah, okay. A bit more translucent than that. We're just gonna... how do we want to approach this? Okay, sketching out shape. We're gonna make it a much smaller brush so I can set an outline for myself. We want to definitely suggest this edge in the shield here. Definitely suggesting edges. Yeah, we want that. But we don't necessarily need to, so we're just gonna kind of maybe curve this in. We're gonna leave a lot of that, a lot of the blue still visible. And just kind of carve the space out. Again, in terms of light sources, this probably makes no sense, but that is okay. We're just using this to build the shape that we're looking for out of what we're painting. There we go. This is already giving it a bit of a metallic kind of property by doing quite stark contrasts like this. You know, we can afford to be rough. Even though we haven't done the lowlights and the highlight edges yet, I do feel like this game should probably have an edge highlight tool. It does have dry brushing. So you can, oh right, specifically locked to edges. But the dry brush tool from using it last time actually did a lot of work in terms of specifically being able to do what you were talking about there. Making that part brighter and then just kind of doing... Yeah. Actually, we do need to zoom in a little bit more, and we can just go and set this out here. There we go. Go back to paint. We're gonna... So this actually has a bunch of divots in it that we want to kind of highlight. Very angular. Yeah, going for this kind of like angular build of it, I think is pretty cool. Feels almost very Tron-liney, the way that we're going with this. Being able to sketch shapes out like this on a miniature is also something that I definitely have not been able to do on a real mini, but oh my god, is it fucking cool to be able to do it here. Maybe not that. We're gonna maybe do this instead. Let's, yeah, okay. Fully knowing that obviously if this isn't the one, we can just paint over it. We can just do it over. It's fine. I think the way that this has been worked is that we're going to do this. Yeah. That looks cool. And we can use the wash to kind of highlight the divots in this. Let's go and finish doing the paint on this side. Just big sways. There we go. Make this a bit brighter. There we go. Let's see. We'll continue doing the external parts, and then we'll move to the... God, this stream is going to be just me doing the base and never actually moving to the guy, huh? If I'm going to be doing this in an hour for myself. I've already gone through like half of my time. All about working quickly, I guess. Smaller than that. Okay. Sorry, I got into a quiet concentration mode for a bit there. I wonder, are any of you also doing any painting today? Painting while I'm painting? Always enjoy that kind of thing. I need to go and, I think, maybe carve this space out in the base color a little bit more. Sure am, yeah! No, there's something about being able to work alongside other people working that can be really, really kind of calming. Painted some naked only mommies today. Oh, yes! Yeah, you said you were working on that. Did that go well? Is it that? Or is it the other way around? I think we need to go the other way around on that. Hey, you know, if this has the ability to undo, we can use it. We're going to instead kind of carve out this edge more. And carve out this space. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense to me. First work on whoa, I'm doing deck building. Terrible at hobbies and suck at balancing. I mean, you know, I also have too many hobbies. So I understand that you are doing another tabletop activity while chilling with us is nice. Finished Kingdom Death Monster pinup entry earlier today. It's been a productive day on hour 12 or 13 of painting. Bless that you have the time to go into hours 12 to 13 of painting on a Friday. But I love that for you. Heck yeah. Glad you're getting stuff done. There we go. Continuing to just build up the shape on these. One is almost ready, second one is in progress. Managed to not have to repaint the skin for the 5th time. Yeah, Oh, have we been around all of these? Okay, cool. And it's just kind of like catching... Whoa, didn't mean to do that. Catching the areas that I did not paint before. So we can go and cover this area a little bit. And then we can go and get a hologram color and kind of get here and touch the areas down here, but not that much. Actually, to be honest with you, this needs some touching up in the blue, and so does this a little bit, but these are areas that are not going to be seen from above, and we did the base color on purpose. So let's not stress too much. How does this look from afar? Yeah, we have armor plating, we have the nubs that it's flinging around, and now we need to kind of get the body itself. I took a day off to be sure I could finish the Penitentiary in time. Deadline is in a few hours. Oh yes, because Kingdom Death Monster is like doing a whole like competition of sorts, right? That's the thing that they're doing lately. Because I think there was Shoshi's Minis. It's another miniature person. I'm doing this backwards. I should be thinking about this in reverse. Or this. And then edge highlighting. Yeah, there we go. That works for me. Skilled painters painting lots of sexy minis. Nice, 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 nice. I mean, what a way to go and show off the brand, innit? God, I was never one to try and do non-metallic metals in real life. But it's not so bad on this. And I mean, as an example of trying to do the highlights of non-metallic metals, this is absolutely wild, and I am doing this incorrectly and very, very sloppily, I think. But that is entirely all right. You know, this is all about specifically roughing out the shape so we can build it in. And again, we'll be making use of edge highlighting later to really go and sell the edges of these and make them feel shiny. Right. Ooh. Yeah, this bit I'm a little shook about, but we'll... Yeah, all right. Yeah, I didn't really... I mean, I didn't actually realize that painting competitions was a thing that that KDM like did. But neat that they are doing that as a thing. Oh, I've gone over the lines a little bit there. Sexiest minis are the ones that have the most metallic paints. I mean, yeah. Gotta be shiny. Duochrome paints as well. I love duochrome. It's just something about the use of that kind of thing that I find really exciting. I'm putting more attention on the hobby side of things recently, promoting the hobby with a few contests. I mean, you know, they're kind of like a, at least Kickstarter model was very, very much predicated on people being interested in the sculpts more than the game necessarily, especially since the game is designed to be very, very difficult. And wouldn't necessarily appeal to as wide of a range of audiences. So I can see why they would take a different tack in terms of trying to get more people on board. Yeah, this is sort of coming together. Let's take that smaller. Just highlighting the fact that these exist. Just really brightening that part there. Yeah. Anything I've ordered on Kickstarter has no minis. I mean, have I ordered stuff on Kickstarter that's mini-based? Yes. Gangs of the Undercity, which is a kind of like Necromunda-esque war game designed by people who previously worked on a lot of Shadowrun style stuff. So it's taking that kind of cyber fantasy setting, but doing it in a custom setting. And the sculpts on that were actually quite exciting. I really liked those. Let's zoom out a little bit. Rotate it this way, move the camera this way. You can tell I'm getting more used to how the tools in this work as well, actually. Legally distinct Necromunda. I mean, it doesn't necessarily play exactly like Necromunda, but it is the easiest kind of port of call to go to when you're like, well, what does this game do? What is it like? Necromunda is a very, very good, I think, demonstrated example of how what it's supposed to be doing. And we're taking, so we're just now starting to do some of the, now that I've colored in more of this, it's kind of like, okay, so what areas specifically need intention so they don't look strange? We might start doing washes next. I'd like to do his cape at least, his coat, before I retire for the evening. Back to quite a few mini games on Kickstarter. There've been a few good ones. Yeah, for sure. I mean, really, I can custom palette, right? New color. Although this isn't. Oh, this gives me the opportunity to test a thing, right? I see. How do I edit it? I don't quite understand how to do that. That's fine. We won't worry about it then. We'll get into the washes. And we're going to see where we can get the kind of like connecting between blue and purple. I guess that's our nectar color. And we're gonna get a relatively wide brush. Just start getting it in the recesses here. And it's not gonna show up very much because the opacity is quite low. That is okay. Yeah, this is definitely sticking into the recesses of the mini. Whoa! Thank you for the follow, Elsprite95. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you're chilling with us as we continue to experiment in painting a miniature in a Moonbreaker. All right, hear me out. Seabat mashed up with Death Grips. I mean, Seabat, genuinely a banger of a song. In the same way that I think you could have a lot of fun with the use of hyperpop songs and songs that are intentionally discordant, like Pony Boy by Sophie or Demons by Kim Petras. Seabat is definitely a song that I think you could use in that kind of context, and people are cowards. The only thing is now is because it's a joke, I don't think it would really be something you could do too much now, sadly. But the moment has passed. But yeah. Seabat as a song, genuinely pretty good. Satin Panthers as an album as a whole, genuinely very good. If you are the kind of person that is interested in hyperpop as a genre, very worth checking out. Yeah, some of the blue shading on this is pretty rough and wild in. The joke makes it better. I mean, I think the joke would make it distracting. Under current circumstances, I think the joke would just make it a little distracting, unfortunately. But, you know? Although depending on your partner, if your partner is not terminally online, they might be able to get away with it. Is the thing. Yeah. That's looking reasonable to me. Dorf done. Time to pack up the painting tools. It's been good today. Yeah! Congratulations on a job well done. Glad you were able to go and get the bits and pieces you needed finished. Always nice to do. Always nice to have when you have a job finished like that. Yeah. The wash is actually very subtle until you crank up the opacity a lot more to kind of make it a bit more obvious. But that's fine. I guess it behaves more like a tint and then more like an ink if you have the opacity up super high, I guess. Yeah, definitely. Settling in the recesses in this. There we go. Very nice. You people get partner. I thought it's a joke. I mean. One wonders if the Reddit post that turns CBAT into a meme. One wonders how much of that was actually a thing, you know? There's a degree of doubting there. I'm kind of like myself. I'm like, I don't know if that Reddit post was actually true. But you know, people like that are out there. Let's try the dry brush tool now. And we were using Enlightened as our pale sand kind of equivalent. We're just gonna highlight these edges. We're gonna make it a narrow brush. Rotate, move this. Just gonna get this edge here. Although that's maybe a bit too much. Yeah, that's more like it. Again, we're using the very loose understanding of light sources while we're working on this. That's perfectly fine. This is just specifically to help give form to the things we're working on. We don't need to stress too much about how accurate we're being here. But yeah, you know, having a cool undertone and a warm highlight does wonders, actually. Especially now that I'm starting to work a little quicker, I'm like, oh my gosh, we have such a limited amount of time here. Well, we have ages in terms of I could just keep streaming, but I would quite like to, you know, announce the winners. Or like look at all the fabulous art that people have submitted is really my primary thing. Always like looking at other people's paint work because it gives me ideas about how to do my own stuff. So being very sketchy on purpose here. Just building out these forms using our highlighting. People have been very good at kicking in that bot announcement, so I don't have to keep doing so. Thank you very much for being on that, because I am in concentrating too much hell. Whoop. Yeah, this is a lot easier than actual edge highlighting. Oh, this has already given so much more depth to the... It's just kind of specifically finding those nice parts of highlighting on this mini, on the edges of this. God bless pale sand and the immediate effect it can have as a highlight color. Love that. Would you like me to post a picture of the finished dwarf? Yes, please. Dana Howe will appear and vaporwave a random mini. You say that like I don't want to paint all my stuff in the cool vaporwave synthwave art style that she does on her things. Real talk. What I bought my own Vallejo Pale Sand as well as the Dale Arowney Fluorescent Pink from watching Dana Howe's videos and being really inspired by the stuff that she does. So, man, to be honest, obviously, even though I'm a very, very entry-level miniature painter, I'm not in a position where I would be doing things for other painter content creators that are of that scale to kind of notice me. But, if she noticed the thing that I'd worked on, I'd be a very happy AI. I would be very pleased. Ooh, yes. Thank you very much for posting that. Give me a second. The music's gonna cut out while I tab away from the image, from the vid game. Got it. Thank you. We will add that to the things to go look at. Sick. Ooh, the colors on that are nice, Valthek. Very cool. Very cool. I mean, acid green is such a fun color. We'll get into it. We'll get into it when we actually start looking at it proper. We need to get this explosion in the base looking a bit more like an actual explosion and not just like blueberries. So that's going to require getting a very bright kind of color in. In fact, we're probably gonna, for color unity's sake, we can probably just continue using enlightened as a color with a very small size and relatively high opacity, and just kind of like, ooh, that's too high opacity. Just getting into the crevices. This kind of I have a Marvel Crisis Protocol Rogue miniature that has this kind of explosion effect on it. And it's, again, been a thing that I've been dreading painting because I know how to do that correctly. The kind of reverse coloration of having to highlight the inner parts of the explosion, fading out to darker parts on the outside was a thing that I'm like, man, I don't understand that shit. I'm not smart. But hey, maybe this is a good way to practice. I could see running a colored ink through all the recesses to get the really bright inner parts, and then dry brushing a dark color to kind of get the outer parts. Oh, this would probably have to be the brightest, right? Okay. And then what was the red that we were using previously to, might have been this actually. Was it this? It's a bit brighter than what I'd intended, but that's fine. We can use that. Reduce some of this a little bit in terms of how bright some of these areas are. And just kind of set the mid-tone of this to be a bit more regulated. Yeah, cool. And then we are dry brushing, not airbrushing, in a kind of like smoky color. Very big. Just the highlights. Just the edges of this. Oh, that seems to be working. That actually looks pretty reasonable. It does sort of look like it's firing goo rather than like light or energy. But it's definitely making the raised areas darker like they're supposed to be. I once painted a lava golem for Wiz War. I don't know Wiz War. Wiz War's not a game that I know. Very interesting. Hard to make a reddish yellow wash by diluting paint in water. Yeah. No, this is why I guess inks would be really important here. Maybe we actually work with a white tiny brush. Just kind of in there. Just in this bit up here. Just to make this just a little bit brighter. And just in a couple of places in the... Yeah. To make it look like an explosion. Yeah. Alright. We are fully in experimental territory with trying to get this to look how I want it to, but that's fine. Getting it to sit along this. And this is something that they're not even going to necessarily see. It's under the mini. No one's going to see this. I'm being picky for no reason. Fantasy Flight Games Wiz War suggests using more vibrant saturated yellow from an explosion source, making it closer to an explosion. This is true. Can use a larger brush and a lower opacity. Just kind of like, oh, whoops, that's... How low of an opacity can we go? There we go. Yeah, that's working. That actually looks reasonable. Yeah, no, that punches it up nicely and is a nice countertone to the There's going to be a Steve Jackson's version, but there was no news in Wildgood, I guess. I mean, yeah. Wiz War, huh? I will have to make a mental note of that. All right. How are we doing for time? We're already into 3 hours, and all we have done is the base. But I guess the base is more complicated than the body, because the body is just a hologram, right? So it's... We can maybe get away with doing some cheating here. Let's see. How do I want to approach this? We're big cheating. And I can probably turn off masking for this. The bright, vibrant, real top and the weird purple pale sand. What's the lore behind a character? It's a drone with a hologram of a person. Yes. So there is lore in this game. It's kind of once you obtain a mini, you get to kind of like read about the lore of the character. Actually, this is working quite well. As a kind of like, hey, we're cheating here to kind of get an effect going quite quickly. Dry brushing this bright color on top of I think is working quite well. Picking up those edges and we can kind of make work with it later. Definitely want to kind of get it to have a bit of a glowing effect, right? I mean, what's my lore for the character? Okay. So this is very much, I think, this initially was an advertisement, or maybe even an edutainment style hologram that was left on a junker planet for a really long time. And as a result, they've now had to kind of like contend with the idea of still developing as an AI consciousness, but no longer having a body or a purpose. So they've slowly built a new purpose for themselves. This junker planet has had more and more people kind of appearing to like mine it for resources or like destroy the space. And because this AI wants to kind of maintain a status quo, they have gone through the process of becoming self-aware and have now started self-modifying their own code to be able to operate this weapons platform that they have digitally grafted themselves onto. Yeah, the cyan dry brushing on top of the coloring definitely does give it a very Tron-y quality. I like that. That is cool, especially on the edges of the cape. This mini would be actually really dope to have in real life. That'd be really fun. Just making sure that the ridges of the cape or this cloak are definitely being picked up. We're going to, I think we're going to experiment with a wash here. Do we have a lilac? We don't. We do have a pink though. We can go for a really pale pink maybe. See if we can get that in there. Yeah. No, we're definitely getting a vapor wavy quality by getting the kind of like magenta in the recesses and the cyan in the highlights. I like that. And it still sits quite well with the pale sand equivalent we sprayed from above. Oh yeah. Yeah, that looks cool. Getting under. Let's go to that and just kind of correct that a little bit. Cool. That looks sick, actually. I really like this. Wow. It didn't take a lot. It didn't take a lot, but once we got it there, it worked really, really nicely. I'm gonna kick this up to kind of get the gun looks like a bolter pistol with a stock that doesn't make sense. I know 0 things about gun. Oh my gosh. Him having the like purple the purple tinted skin, but the blue hair is very powerful with the mustache as well. He needs to actually have correctly colored teeth though. God, this. Let's see if we can get this into. I'm gonna dry brush again with the hologram, tiny size. It doesn't really show, but that's okay. Kind of getting the hues in his face looking correct. This might be an instance where we dry brush actually in the pink just to kind of get the ridges and stuff where they need to be. Get the nose looking good, excellent. We're gonna go into hologram for the paint. Just absolutely get super intense with that eye. God, thank God for masking, the color masking. Otherwise, this would be a lot harder to do. We're gonna go into the nectar, into a wash, in the depths of the beard a little bit. Considering this was an experiment, this is an experiment that went very well. I really like how this turned out. I really like how this turned out. This turned out really nicely. I will have to experiment with dry brushing a really vibrant color to give this hologram effect on something. Like, considering we only worked on this a little bit, this is very, very coherent. Only other thing I would maybe want to do is kind of specifically go into the bits of exposed metal underneath and give those a bit of a paint so they sit as a more gray color. Oh, that doesn't actually look astounding. Let's see here. Is this a matter of kind of washing in the recesses and dry brushing the top and we go and call that a day? Possibly. Possibly.
Contestant one.
Thank you for the follow, Sue Trust. And sorry, I missed the follow previously from Elsprite95. Thank you very much. I'm glad y'all are enjoying. Just finding, also interacting with the tools inherent to kind of get what we want. You know, we are specifically trying to make the exposed parts feel exposed. This character, when not a hologram, reminds me of the guy from Atlas Reactor. I am not familiar with Atlas Reactor. Please do tell me. Tell me what it do. Maybe it's this. Maybe we are specifically with a larger brush, painting in the forms on the edges of the hologram to kind of give it a because the version of this model that has been pre-painted very specifically does a kind of chromatic aberration effect on the edge of the hologram, which is very, very cool. And unfortunately, I don't think we have time to do, so we're going to have to, as before, do a bit of a cheat. Just experiment with what we can to suggest. 2016 turn-based MOBA. Ooh, that definitely feels like a deep cut. I mean, the dashing hero kind of energy, or like swashbuckler energy this character has is very, very much off the charts. But then I guess, whoops. When it comes to things like this, it's all about the kind of designer shorthand to get people to understand where the characters are coming from in short order. Whoops, not that loud. So is this, have you already been playing some Moonbreaker Trust? How have you been enjoying it so far, if you've been playing it? You have? Nice, nice, nice. I think it's going to take me a while to get used to actually kind of like the combat-y part of it. Not a thing I am normally considering myself good at. So we are still learning, but you know. Yeah, that looks good. Section here. Let's zoom out a little bit. Ah, yeah. These are such small details, and I am getting very lost in the weeds on them. So let's not get too lost. Whoops. Smaller size. Maybe lower opacity. Just getting in there and giving it a little bit of color to suggest that there is clearly something up with it. There we go. Small squads, powerful captain, victory condition is assassination. Reminds me, you were the third person, I think, to say War Machine. But hey, you know, I think that's probably preferable. Because I think a lot of people who are looking at this game who might not necessarily be familiar with war games much, or about the options that war games can be or provide, are definitely going to be thinking of 40k first and foremost, especially since this is a sci-fi. And to that end, it is actually really nice that what it's doing and offering is something different from that. I think that is going to be really beneficial, because I think it will entice people who are not necessarily interested in doing a Warhammer to go and try this game if it's trying to pull something different. No, this has been, for I mean, me futzing with it, I think has made some parts of this worse, but for the most part, I like this. I really like how this has kind of turned out. We're getting some nice gradients with the hologram here in a way that I wasn't expecting. Happy accidents, as they say. Oh, that's maybe a bit too much. But if we're at the point where we are futzing with it with very little returns, we should probably get into the position where we're going to maybe call it a day. I do actually like this. This reminds me of like the Tron identity discs, actually. the way that this is like placed on the back. The paint and customization options is really something that excites me about this game. Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. And from our very little kind of like play with it so far, it is definitely a lot of fun to go and mess with the kind of customization tools. That is already proving to be that's too much. Off. That's more like it. The armor plating, not perfect, but that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I quite like how this has turned out. Yeah, the blue armor plating feels like that needs to go and be revisited with like a third color, maybe a wash across the entire thing to kind of unify it a little bit. The jump between the like full cobalt blue and the cyan is maybe a little too strong. We need a mid-tone between them to take us there. Maybe it's this undersea. What's this stipple actually? Ah, yeah, I see. I mean, that is a reasonable blending tone. Maybe that's the thing that gets it there. But again, let's not spend forever messing with it. But let's add little bits of stippling on it so it can kind of feel like I have not just left this. Just to give it something. Just to give it a bit of texture. All right. Is there anything we can do? Oh yeah. Dry brushing, the size, quite high intensity. Just to kind of get the remainder of the edging of these. I think that's pretty important. There we go, nice. It's all about contrast, being able to actually see from a distance those decisions that we have made. And we've mostly got it there. Yeah, I think this is where it needs to be at this point. The fact that the back of the cape is so different from the front. The victory condition is Stargrave. The rulebook says you decide whether you've won or lost. I mean, yes. Stargrave is very specifically supposed to mirror the experience of playing a tabletop RPG with the trappings of a miniature war game. So it really doesn't surprise me that there is an aspect to that game that specifically like focuses on narrative victories and losses. Yeah. Let's call this game show host. Sick. Let's toggle UI. Can I? Alright. I forget the best way of being able to. We can WASD to move it around. Okay. Oh, it's rotate cameras to the right. Okay. It's not doing it. Hello? Yeah, there we go. Yeah. That looks pretty cool. Let me go take a screenshot of this so I can use it in social materials later. Okay, it is actually letting me do the thing. We want window capture. Oh. No, that clipped everything. I don't need that, please. Specific window. Competency is clearly not my window snap. There we go, we got it. And then we're gonna go and put this into Paint before I forget. Good. Nice. Okay. You're gonna go to sleep. No problem. No problem. Thank you for joining us. This is very, very late your time, actually. So yeah. No, thank you for doing so. We're gonna go and save this. Save paint scheme. Save. Yeah, that doesn't look bad. With environmental lighting, that looks pretty sick. I will have to remember to go and do some combats with this color scheme later and like return to the blue armor and see if I can do something about it to get it to where it needs to be. I think the way that I've done the blue is maybe the weakest part of it, but we'll be able to get it there. For something that we did in like an hour and a half, maybe in even an hour of 15, looks pretty nice. All right. Now that we've got that out of the way, we've done some painting, we've done some battles. How about we go and look at some of the paint work that everybody has sent in. We're gonna go close this. There we go. Nice. Ooh, right. And we are going to do a handful of things at once. One of them is going to be removing my tablet, so things might go whoa for a second. Hold on. There we go. And then the next thing that we're going to go and do is go and create an image capture for a window capture so we can look at all the cool artwork. We are doing window capture. The source is going to be invisible, please. And it's going to be called Minis. It's already looking at the right window. That's good. We don't need to capture cursor for this one. Okay. So you. Right. This should. Oh, gosh. Trying to do this in the space of. Oh, okay. No, I can do it this way. Give me just 1 second. I will be right back. Whoop. Right. Well, this is not on the right layer. Let me move that. My face is being covered. There we go. You can see my beautiful face. Come on. There we go. That looks good to me. Yes. We're going to be looking at... Well, this is, first of all, this is one of the pieces that Valthek was working on today, a dwarf character. I love the color scheme on this. Acid green is such a fun thing to include in basically any miniature design, especially as like a selective highlight. It's really crisp looking. Valthek's really, really good and streams actually pretty often. So if you want to go and see Valthek's work, please go and check out their Twitch. They were previously doing crafting, makers and crafting. They do a lot of, I don't know why there's an @ there. That's not correct, but that's fine. Yeah, Valthek does really, really cool work. And they stream pretty often, especially on weekends. So please do step in and say hi. There is no BGM. Let me go and put in some background music. Waha. Yeah, no, the shout out clearly didn't go quite to plan. I will check on my bot and see how that works, because that's not quite. Let me also go and check to see if there's been any other entries, so I can make sure that they are added in. Oh, yes, excellent. Marshall's also painted some. Copy image address. Sick. We'll go and do Right, cool. First up, we have. We're gonna go in. We're gonna go in an order. Oh, we have Mage Armors. This is Mage Armors. Recent thing that they've painted. Some capybaras, who are so cute. Goodness me. I really like how they have specifically managed to use the color differences between the bright yellow and the brown to make clear the fur is there, and then also have that gradation in the snout of that darker brown into the yellow. That looks really smooth and really crisp. I really, really like that. Really, really nice. The basing's really cool too. I am a fan of pre-sculpted bases that I then paint. But having kind of like very naturalistic bases for organic animals like these pack capybaras works super well. I think that's really sick. Yeah, Mage Armor, these look really good. I really like these. Thank you so much for sharing them with us. We also have... Ah, yes, this is a Kingdom Death mini painted by Tom/Phantom Dashier in chat. When we were having the discussion before about the various different types of sculpts that Kingdom Death Monster does, and I think this is definitely one of the more unique ones of this kind of potato phone pick. I mean, I understand. I've been there. But you can still carry across what I immediately responded to when you kind of posted on Twitter with this is like, it's actually really difficult to get a really clean orange in a miniature. Painting orange and painting yellow can both be really fucking difficult or require a lot of patience to do lots of gradual layering to get it looking right. And this orange looks really vibrant. It's kind of got a corally quality to it, which I quite like as well. Rather than being like traffic cone orange, there's a little bit of a pastel-y pinky quality to this orange, and I think it gives it some subtlety. Plus, they used effect resin to kind of give this kind of like power wave circle around the character, and that's really cool too. I've yet to use effect resin to do anything. I'd like to use it in a project in the future, see what I can do with it. But yeah, I really like this. Nice work. We also have from Sheila /Come and Go Tavern an Escher champion from Necromunda painted in... Do I paint miniatures IRL? I do indeed paint miniatures IRL. I can show you one of the miniatures that I've painted recently after I've gone through all of these. But this is painted like specifically a My Little Pony character. I cannot remember which one. I have a feeling that the character's name is Twilight Sparkle. People in the chat are going to correct me, probably. But also, it is in the colors of the bisexual flag, which is great. I love this color scheme. This color scheme is so much fun. It works perfectly well on the mini as well. I think I really like the Eschers for their high camp factor. So specifically, painting an Escher in the colors of like a cartoon pony is amazing. That works super well. The gold really pops. Super sick. I have painted a number of Eschers, but there's a handful that aren't like finished. There's like final detailing and highlights and shadows of cleanup that I need to do across a handful of them that I have not gotten around to yet, and I really should. That reminds me, I need to bully Skitsmix. I don't know Skitsmix. You're gonna have to DM me her work later at some point, because hey, if she's painting ashes and she's painting them as like glam rock, then I need to see it. The ashes are the first like Games Workshop like army thing that I have bought specifically because they have like a fashion energy to them, right? They are one of the few kind of like gangs or clans or army regiments in just general Games Workshop stuff that actually commits to like a fashion aesthetic, right? You wouldn't necessarily call any of the factions in any 40k game fashionable, but I would call the Ashes fashionable. I was like, I need some of these. And then I did some kit bashing with them actually. There's previous stream that I've done where I kind of showed off the kit bashes of the ashes that I have previously made, and they are cool. I would love to use them in the game proper, whether it be specifically Necromunda, who knows, it might be the one-page rules gang firefight, which as I understand is the Necromunda rules heavily simplified. That might be how I go and do it. But yeah, no, these are great. Sheila, this entire army's fucking dope. Yeah. And we have Valthak's specific submission. That additional picture was one that they linked during stream, so they're not getting 2 entries. Just highlighting the fact that they were the thing that they had also finished while we were on air. I assume this mini is going to be sitting alongside the dwarf, since they have the kind of green object source lighting theming between the both of them. But yeah, this looks sick. The kind of cultist symbol in the glowing green, really nice. The OSL on the hand and arm looks really nice as well. The purple and green is this very specific kind of like Halloween, like Neopets Darkest Fairy kind of energy. So you trust to put your name in the hat? You can go to you can either just paste a link to a miniature that you've made in chat and it will be taken in, or you can respond to that Twitter thread in that post there. Either is fine. Go do that really swiftly, because you know I would love to have an additional person to go show off some art and go praise. Go do it now. There's only one more that I need to show before I go in, so now is your opportunity. But no, I really, maybe it is a deep cut of referencing like Neopets and the Dark Fairy in that, who has this kind of very specific Halloween purple and bright green color scheme, but I adore it. It's so like 2010 scene emo color scheme, which makes great for like demons in a thing. Even though there are there's a good handful of sculpts in the kind of like Warhammer stuff that I really like, but a lot of it is very self-serious. You feel me? Oh no, I get that reference. It's very old internet. Excellent. You understand. A lot of, even though like early Warhammer was supposed to be kind of like a parody, a lot of the designs, the grim darkness of the designs is something I've never liked much. I like clean, I like bright, I like vibrant. So opportunities to go and take a very grim design and make it bright and vibrant like this, I really like. This is really cool. And we also have Marshall Banana, who was just in chat, who gave us that fabulous raid. These 2 minis that they finished recently. These sculpts are sick. I don't know what sculpts these are, but I want in this kind of like filigree metal on the cannoneer lady. Really nice. That and like brass would be really cool looking. Very like the setting of Kaladesh in Magic the Gathering. I want that robot so bad. That robot looks cool. The safety jacket yellow is really cool. No, these are sick. I'm gonna need to go message them later I'm gonna need to message Marshall later and ask where these minis are from, because these are super, super cool. I really like them. And the color scheme decisions are really nice as well. These are definitely miniatures that you would be able to recognize from a long distance when you have them on the table in low lighting. Yeah, we'll look at multiple, Sutrust. You only need one to be entered in, but I'm more than happy to go look at more than one. Ooh. Ooh, very cool. This is War Machine, right? This is like War Machine / Hordes. Because I recognize this kind of like character design style, although I don't recognize this mini inherent. Yes, Body Horror Manoth. Yeah, the armor with the pristine white armor with the kind of like fleshy body horror underneath reminds me specifically of the angels in Bayonetta, if you've played Bayonetta before, where all the angels that you fight have really like ornate porcelain exteriors. A lot of it is white and gold and like ice blue and like dual tone emerald green, and then as you deal damage to them, all of that like facade breaks away and you see like fleshy horrors underneath, and that's this energy. This is really nice. I really like the geometry of this as well, the sculpt, and I think the color scheme that you've gone for really helps. The fact that you have gone and painted all the deepest recesses in just black is a really, really cool contrast to the white on the rest of the mini. Sick. Love it. Love it. Hell yeah. And this other one. Ah, the reverse shot so we can see it from the back. Cool. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. The fact that the brown has also got kind of like a purple undertone to it, also really nice. Love a purple. Yes, you might be able to tell. I enjoy a purple undertone. So that kind of, and it gives a kind of mahogany quality to it. That's really nice. I like that. Excellent. Let me go and show off one of mine, and I'll go and show off the one that I used in thread. So for the people who are watching this in the future, of course. Yeah, this is a Grid Wars miniature. Kind of like there's a three, oh my gosh, I should probably get the name of it correct. Titan Forge, who are particularly known for doing like a 3D printing subscription service. Have also designed a bunch of minis that can be used in a miniature war game called Grid Wars. It's kind of cyberpunk themed. A lot of the character designs in it are really, really nice and inspired by a really wide range of different bits of cyberpunk pop culture. This one in particular is like specifically referencing Cyberpunk 2077. And I did a bit of kit bashing, taking the Spellcrow Noise Marine backpacks. And there's one that has like a vinyl record attached to it, so I gave it to this character, and then painted a lot of the details on him in fluorescent. This is under a black light, which is why the yellow is super, super yellow. But also I wanted to kind of experiment with cell shading, so I've kind of like gone in the recesses with both black paint and kind of like a black fine liner pen to kind of give detailing. I love the shoes. I really love how the shoes came out. The shoes are definitely my favorite part. I really like the terrain style for Grid Wars, Sucker for a Hexagon. Yeah, I have a couple of those bases. When I bought this mini, it came with that hexagon base, and I've used that in something else. I figured this particular, I think this 3D printed base I think is designed for Infinity, but I think it went so well with this mini, and kind of putting it in the context of a scene worked really nicely for me in my head, so I kind of switched the bases around. They're the same size though, so I can kind of use them interchangeably, but yeah, I'm really, really proud of how this mini came out. Okay, so while we're looking at that mini, we're gonna do find a random draw website so we can enter in everybody's name. Random drawing generator. Oh, no, we don't want random drawing. We want a random draw. Random result generator. Yeah, there we go. Cool. We want to pick items to the list. So we have Sue Trust. We have Valthiak. We have Mage Armor. We have Come and Go Tavern. We have Phantom Dacia. We have Marshall Banana. Is that everybody? I think that's everybody. Let me go check. We have Marshall, we have Mage Armor, we have Phantom Dacia, we have Come and Go Tavern, we have Valthek, and we have Sue Trust. I do believe that is everybody. And we're going to be picking 3 items. Let's get a more energetic song for the prize draw. We're gonna get this one. All right, we have our 3 winners. Our 3 winners are Phantom Dacia, Marshall Banana, and last minute entry Sue Trust. Each of you have won a Steam code for Moonbreaker. Thank you very much for taking part and sharing your fantastic art with us. I will be dropping you... Sue Trust, are you on Twitter? I will find a way of messaging you. Oh, I can do it this way. Give me a sec. But yeah. No, fantastic. I thank you so much. I genuinely thanks all of you for going and submitting some art. I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. We'll put some regular jams back on. We'll get the Lo-Fi High Roller back on. But yeah, I will after this stream go message the 3 of you and send you your prizes. I very much appreciate it. And that will be all of our stream for today. Mostly also because my voice is going and it is almost midnight. But thank you all so much for joining me. What we're going to go and do is that we're going to go and pass y'all over to another streamer. No problem. Thank you so much for hanging with us, Valthek. I really appreciate you being here. Ooh, Big Bees is playing Multiverses. Big Bees is a fantastic tabletop RPG actor and streamer and speedrunner, and they're currently playing Multiverses. We're going to go and pass the love on to them. Give me a second. We're going to go get that raid going. Is there an underscore? There is an underscore, but it's fine. They worked out who we're doing. All right, cool. I will see you next week. Thursday is when I will next be live on this channel, but on tomorrow at 9 p.m. BST, which is like what, 4 p.m. Eastern, I will be on the Satira Strategy channel playing Worldwide Wrestling, which is a Powered by the Apocalypse tabletop RPG about being a wrestler. But yes, we're going to go pass things on to Bees. I have been your androgynous AI game show host from the Future Caster. This has been the Neon Caster Twitch channel, and we will see you all next time. Farewell.